Okay. Good Lord. Well, I don't know what was going on with the internet there, dude. Like, it just, like, my whole stream setup was just botching it, man. But hey, anyway, we're here. If I drop out, I guess I'll we'll know why. Appreciate everyone being here. Happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Appreciate everyone being here, hanging out. We're going to talk some GTA. We're going to talk some Lego Batman. We're going to talk some Star Fox. We're just doing a lot of chatting about all the game reveals, previews, all that sort of stuff, and just diving into some random shit. That's the idea of these streams, right? So appreciate you all being here. What's going on, Francisco? Good to see you. Palmer's Burner, good to see you as well. Nathan, happy to see you here. Tyler, welcome. Nate, welcome. Frenchie, what's going on? Mithu, hello. Wolf Bear, hello. What's going on, everyone? Hmon, good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the stream. Silver, what's going on? And Nurse Mayo's here. What's going on? Good to see everyone. Appreciate you all being here. I'm hoping again, I've never had like internet issues like that before where I was like, why am I not able to go live? Like, what's going on here? I was trying to get my files over to my editor for a video going live tomorrow. I was like, why can't I post anything? So we'll see where things go. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Someone, hello. Sir Wonder, welcome. Moist Memes, welcome. Great name. Low Life Mid-Tech says, hair's looking real majestic today. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Wolf just watched the Blockbuster video. Sweet. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making that one. Starting my Mass Effect journey. Rilo, have fun. Special experience. Later Storm, I did see the price increase. Yeah, we'll talk about that as part of our Star Fox conversation. Star Fox conversation. We'll get into that. Kenny still got his original Blockbuster card. That's awesome. I think my mom might have it by chance. She has like a bunch of pocketbooks, and so I'm sure in one of those we've got our old Blockbuster card. I know I didn't have it. Thank you, Swole Ride Guy. Don't worry, Swole. I'm gonna get to know Van very well. I had my Switch next to me here. I'm just starting Trails Beyond the Horizon very soon here. I bought the game on Switch 2 because I've just realized the Switch 2 has been really ideal for my life as of late, just with travel, but also I like to lay down when I play games, man. I'm always in this chair. I just like to lay down and play some games. And so I've just been liking my Switch 2 a lot. Battery life's been really solid. And so even though I already bought the collector's edition on PS5, I was like, you know what? Kondo I got to support the future of my GOAT. So Kondo got another 70 out of me on Switch 2. And so I will be starting Horizon there. I'm also thinking about the reviews for Mixtape really caught my attention. I was like, wow, this scored really well. So I definitely want to look into that, especially because it's like a really short game, 3-4 hours, $20 seems pretty harmless. So I want to check that out as well. So yeah, gonna be a fun go with some games lately. Just trying to kill some time until Lego Batman, honestly. That's like my next big one. What's going on, Zerofication? Good to see you here, man. Oh, what am I doing? Guys, the music. The music. How could I forget the music? I was like, something's off. I was like, we're sitting here in silence, aren't we? Of course. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Putting on my headphones. I want to listen to the music too. Okay. There we go. Play my music. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Mixtape's great. You can get it done very quickly. Mixtape was about 2 hours, 30 minutes for me. It was fantastic, one sitting game. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, because that game, I felt like it was in development for a decent amount of time, but it looks interesting. So I heard there's a lot of 90s nostalgia, depending on like where you grew up, that is. So I'm curious if it'll connect with me. Shout out to Discord dying as we upload the video. I know, Josh, I was literally just texting... what's his name? I was just texting Dan for Mr. Matty videos like, hey, Discord's down, but the files are up. Like, so yeah, Discord completely crapped out literally just now. I wonder if that had to do with like what happened to my internet there, because it just like completely fizzled out for a moment. Escardex, I got to get on that wave. Yeah, like playing indies. I do play a decent amount now, but like I just feel I want to play more and more. I don't know. It seems like they're just kind of addressing my needs. Just the amount of like how it's not really a... These games that are coming out aren't like just kind of running out the same shit. It's always something new, something a little bit different. But there was a period of time where I felt like a lot of indie games are just rolling out strictly artsy fartsy. Like it was just strictly experiential 2-hour things. And that's what kind of got me out of some indie games. But then I just realized you're not looking hard enough. Like, and nowadays discoverability is a little bit better, so it's easier to find that stuff. But like, yeah, indie games are crushing it this last couple of years. It's really inspiring as like, you know, a dev myself. Like it's really, really inspiring to just see people kind of like chasing the dream and then like succeeding. Like that's the cool part about this industry is you can find a certain level of success. You know, like it just like with a specific community even. So, yeah. James is here as well. Yeah, dude. I know. That's why I can't send messages. It's like I feel bad. There's so many people I need to be in contact with like before this stream that I just couldn't message because Discord went down. Z-Bat, what's going on, bro? Only games I've joined this year are indies and indie style. Yeah, I honestly I've been honestly a little bit of a AAA fiend this year when I think about it. I played a lot of Resident Evil, like all the series. I played Requiem, of course. Oh, Mouse PI for Hire. That was an indie game. That was fucking awesome. Yeah, that was really good. Game Jones, we're going to get into it. The pricing news is that I think GTA 6 will be $80. I have a whole document up and ready to go in a little bit here. I just like to let the chat kind of roll in before we sit down to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about like their history with raising prices at Take-Two. I'll get all that up now. The development cost of GTA 6, which I think is going to play a huge factor in kind of their get back. What analysts are saying, and then sort of how they're approaching the launch of GTA 6 and like what platforms they're focusing on, which was the same thing they did with 5, and just looking at that in parallel with 6, which they've spent even more on. Like, what does that mean? So, it's a very telling conversation. This game, I can almost guarantee you, before we even dive into it, is going to be $80. So be ready for that. I think a lot of people will happily pay $80 for it, but what the problem is the broad impact, as I'll get into, right? There's the immediate impact of like, I got to pay $80 for that. And then there's the broad impact of everyone in the industry being like, doors open, we're going to do it too. Because if GTA 6 charges $70, no one in their right mind can charge $80 because GTA 6 didn't. So it's actually like a huge point here. If they go to $70, I think a lot of developers couldn't push to $80 if GTA 6 didn't. So it'll leave the industry in a pretty stuck place. Like GTA 6 is going to be the one that opens the door, no doubt about it. It'll invite endless comparisons, but that already happens with what's it called? With Red Dead. That was 2018. So my social stream thing is doing that thing again where I can't bring up your guys' super chats. Hang on. I'm gonna try this again. Let's try this again. Let me see if I can. I want to be able to highlight the super chats when they come in. This program's gotten finicky all of a sudden. I gotta look into it. It was fine last stream. Let's see here. All right, I don't know. I'll have to try again in a little bit here. But anyways, shout out to Z-Bat for the $2 super chat. If Star Fox sells well, maybe we can get a new game. I know, right? I'm not even like a huge Star Fox fan either. Like, as in, I love Assault, but like that's the only one I've played a lot of. So, yeah, for me, you know, another 64 remake. It's kind of like, as we'll talk about, I'm in a middle point on it. It's like, oh, it's a little like learning that I'm a little underwhelmed. I thought it was going to be a whole ass brand new video game, and it is. It's got some new stuff. It's also $50, which is nice. I like the way they revealed it. I like that it's just coming out next month. That's kind of cool. But I hope it does lead to more. It seems like there are rumors that there's going to be like a Star Fox movie. So it seems like they're trying to move Star Fox up the totem pole a little bit. Try that out. Like they tried Metroid with like Dread and Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 doesn't seem to have crossed 1 million. So I wonder if they're turning their attention to like building Star Fox up some more. Silver Lightning, thanks for becoming a member for 67 months. That's hilarious. Thank you. It's a lot of time, man. Hmon, thank you for your super chat. Now that Star Fox is revealed, it's only a matter of time till Nate's Ocarina of Time remake rumor is confirmed. Looking forward to your retro rebound on Majora's Mask is one we're gonna hit. Hmon. Now that Star Fox is coming out next month, I am gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna go. So if I remember correctly. Let's look at the game releases together here. If I remember correctly, Adventures of Elliott's are releasing around the same time as this new Star Fox game. I had a plan to do a Star Fox retrospective for at least Assault. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, this might time out pretty well. Hang on. Let's look together. Here. So what I was thinking is I'm going to do definitely a review for this. Now, Square Enix has been a little weird lately. I have not like gotten into contact with them for like any sort of review access for years now, and it's ever since the person I knew who worked there left. So I've not been able to get in contact with anyone since. But I would like to review this. At the very least, this will come out this week for me because any HD 2D game I cover on Retro Rebound. So a week later on Star Fox is actually great because I might have room for at least a review for that on top of a retrospective. Now, I wanted to do a retrospective for Assault and Adventures because I don't know when I'm going to have an opportunity to do more Star Fox content. So it might be a good time to just dive in on that. Maybe do a retrospective of Adventures, review Star Fox, then do like a kind of retrospective / modern comparison between the new Star Fox and Assault. I think that's the play. So yeah, I'm keen for a lot of Retro Rebound content in June. There's a lot coming up that I can't wait to sink my teeth into. We got some good plans on the horizon here. So thanks for supporting Retro Rebound, though, man. It's my favorite thing to do. So really appreciate Hmon. You looking forward to the Majora's Mask one. Certainly not doing myself any favors, though, with some of the stuff I got to catch up on my backlog with. Like Majora's Mask is one. I've got to catch up on some GTA games. I really shouldn't be playing Trails right now. I shouldn't, but like I almost got spoiled for Trails, and I'm like, you know what? This might be in like the top 10 Game of the Year talks anyway. I should really go for this. So I'm hoping another window in the month kind of reveals itself and lets me dive in. Chris the Killer, $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. People pay $30 to watch a movie for 2 hours, but $70 for a 20-hour campaign is insane to them. This is why money to hours doesn't work. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I saw a lot of people really disappointed with 007 being, 20 hours long, like you said. And I was very surprised by that takeaway. I was like, man, this industry is in such a tough spot where like AAA is being told like go bigger and also go smaller. It just, I don't know what the right answer is. I think development teams just need to kind of trust themselves and where they want to take their project in a certain direction of. You can't pay attention to trends. You certainly can't pay attention to social media because, like, for example, like one of the things people like about Pragmata a lot is that like it's not this sad dad story, right? It's not like The Last of Us or whatever. But one thing that Pragmata loses because it's not a sad dad story is like a lot of narrative tension. Like I love the game. It's my game of the year. But it's certainly, there's a reason why we get a lot of sad dads. So people are like, yeah, it's so cool. Like it's a wholesome father-daughter relationship. So now like if someone's paying attention to trends and they want to build everything off what people are reacting to now you're going to see a trend of like happy dad stories. And I don't know, man, like, it's just like, you can't predict that stuff. You got to just like, Pragmata's got soul at the end of the day. And like, I just worry about how reactive this industry as fans are, where it's like, oh, now people are complaining about 20-hour campaigns. So it's like if 007 was 10 hours, we'd be like, oh my God, only $70 only 10 hours, $70. That's ridiculous. If it was 30 hours, it's too long. It's, oh my God, this is a fucking 007 game, guys. Like, why isn't it less? So I don't think a lot of people even know what they want at times, is how I take away. And it's just like, you got to just make what your team is good at. In the case of IO, they're good at making single player titles that have like good replayability from like a challenge standpoint, like a Hitman. And I hope some of that DNA carries into 007. We'll see. But definitely, like, I sympathize with both sides. Like when I was in high school, early days in college, like I was really I paid attention to the amount of hours big time because I was like, hey, this is the only game I'm buying for a while. And so I want you to last me. It's why I loved Ubisoft games in like early high school days, because I just knew I could sink tons and tons of hours. Obviously, the music we're listening to, Skyrim, Bethesda Game Studios games, I mean, they were just magical games in general, but certainly helped that they were replayable to me and also had huge worlds to explore and just endless discovery. It was just the ultimate bang for your buck. So I get both sides of it, you know? There was a rumor of an adventurous-style Star Fox game coming later. Really, H-Mon? When? Like, I didn't hear that at all. Was that like a Nate the Hate rumor? Like, I didn't know about that at all. And speaking of H-Mon, you said you love 10 to 20-hour games. That's where I've been living all year, dude. Like, I know it makes me sound older, but, like, you know, I got to say, like, it's been a real fun pocket to be in because those are the games I grew up on. You know, I realize I'm just kind of coming back to what I always enjoyed. Like, I play a lot of open world games. I love open world games, but they're fucking exhausting at times. Like, Crimson Desert is perpetually fucking exhausting to play. Not because it's... I mean, it also doesn't really, I think, earn my hours right now. I put, like, 30-something into it, and I haven't really played it since because I'm just like, yeah, it's not really, like, pulling me in. It expects, like, way too much of me as a player from a... patience standpoint. It's like, dude, I've played JRPGs that get me in 10 hours and that's too much. You're telling me I gotta spend like 40 and get to like chapter 9 and stuff. It's really hard to justify itself, where more condensed focus experiences are kind of making a return, and I fucking love that, dude. I love that our game of the year last year was a turn-based RPG, which normally means 100 hours, and it's like, nope, 30. Yeah, like, it's just very playable. It's enough time where it's like you can get attached to things and you can spend even a month playing that, you know, depending on your schedule and how often you game. But it's also, you know, not too long where it's impossible for people to get in. So yeah, dude, like, I've been loving this pocket I've been in. You know, I try to stay away from sub 10 hours because I think, like, some people get too attached to that where they just love the feeling of, like, beating everything so quickly within, like, a day or two. But certainly when I was playing, like, a bunch of Resident Evil games, everything took me, like, a day or two to beat. That was nice. But then after that, I was like, okay, I want some longer games now. And so I've been in that pocket where it was, like, really nice that Mouse PI for Hire was a little bit longer for me. Like, it was 15 hours. Like, that was cool. Pragmata, I have like 19 hours in right now. Like, that's cool. That one I beat under 20 hours. And I think some of my Steam hours are probably inflated because I had some AFK time. But, like, you know, that was a really good game. And that has some good post-game content. I like that. That's what I've kind of gravitated back to. Like, I really like when I beat a game, really good story, really good focus. In the case of Pragmata, great gameplay loop. And then I can just kind of come back to that with new modes and new ways to have fun. And, you know, in the case of Requiem, when I platinumed it, like, it was a very fulfilling 30 plus hours. You know, that was sick. Like, that just felt really good as a player to just, yeah, it was like a 9-hour game, 9 to 10, depending on how you went about your first playthrough, and then less so afterwards. But it's like, I played that shit like 5 times. That's a cool feeling. There was an anonymous YouTube comment that corroborated Nate's Star Fox rumor before he said it, and also added this is an adventure-style game coming. Interesting, H-Mom. Well, thank you for that insight. Very, very interesting. I thought they were going to drop more Star Fox stuff on Switch Online with the announcement of the new Star Fox game. I put over 500 hours into every Persona game. Crimson Desert was kind of boring. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think I'm there for, like, to me, hour count almost doesn't matter. It does matter, but it doesn't matter. Like, if a game's really exceptional, you know, I'll put the fucking time in, dude. You know? Again, Persona's a great example. Like, that's a 100+ hour playthrough. And I played Persona 5 multiple times, like, between 5 and 5 Royal. Like, both those playthroughs for me were 135 hours. So I got no problem going back and just throwing my time into shit that's, like, God tier. It's when it's just not... I think I've realized, like, I have a 10-hour rule. That's still my rule. But I've also learned to trust myself a bit and when to pull the plug a bit and realize, like, you know, okay, I don't think I need to see more. I know this isn't for me. You know, Marathon was one of those examples. I made my thought piece on it based on the beta. You know, I played that for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, dude, I just don't think this genre is for me. It's not a bad game. It's just like, I don't think this genre is for me. And that was after a couple hours. And if you combine, sure, Arc Raiders for a little bit too, like, I guess I had more of a broad understanding of the genre by that point. I was like, I don't think this is a particularly fun genre. It's just like a soul-sucking genre. It sucks. Extraction shooters suck. And so the game doesn't suck, but I don't like the genre at all. Hattie, you should look up Final Fantasy XIV's How Long to Beat page. All right, let's do it. That's going to be funny. Final Fantasy XIV, How Long to Beat. Yo. No fucking way. That's actually hilarious, dude. 98.5 to 3,576 hours. Oh, my God, dude. Okay, so they break it up into all of the content here. Wow. 7, 6, 6, 6, 12. It's like, okay, 62. 4, 7, 3, 5, 4, 60. This is me looking at main. Then there's main plus extras. And then there's 100%ing it. 369 hours. 350 for Endwalker. Honestly, a little bit less than I expected. Wow. Well, thanks for that. That makes me want to get into it. Juan, thank you for your super chat. I have not been watching The Weeknd play Persona 5. I did see that he was like crashing out over missing out on Takemi, which was funny because my wife had the same reaction. He said my wife stopped playing Persona after she fucked up romancing Takemi, which I think is the most hilarious thing ever. She made the same exact wrong choice. She was really pissed about it, and then she just straight up stopped playing the game. It was so funny. She just like literally still talks about it to this day. She has like a Takemi figurine and everything. Just a quick little retro rebound video for you. No biggie. So for retro rebound in Final Fantasy XIV, I was thinking about how I wanted to approach it. I have a ton of gameplay recorded from when I was playing Realm Reborn. I guess I would just use that, and then I have to restart again, probably when it comes to Switch 2, because I feel like, I mean, some people are telling me on Summon Sign to just play the game on my Steam Deck, but again, the lightweight nature of the Switch 2 is like another appealing factor. Anyway, I was looking at playing 14 again for like the 4th fucking time now, seeing if I can finally get through Realm Reborn. That's why the Steam or the Switch 2 option was kind of attractive to me. But I have a bunch of gameplay recorded for it, and I was thinking if I'm going to make a retrospective on 14 in my first time playing through it, I'm going to break it up into chunks. Like, Realm Reborn story's got to come first. I can't do, like, Realm Reborn plus another... Like, each expansion's, like, its own fucking game, dude. You know? It's crazy. You love 14, especially getting up to Shadowbringers. I hear that all the time, that I would love it. You know? I never thought Laylee the Weeknd would... yeah, Josh, dude. Like, she literally had the same exact I quit moment. Like, to a T. I think that's why I had less of a reaction to what happened to the Weeknd, because I literally showed her, I was like, like, this is the exact same thing you went through. So, poor Takemi, bro. Or poor Weeknd, bro. Poor my wife, too. Godsmack, thank you for the $5 super chat. I did spend 180 hours 100%ing Death Stranding 2, but to me it was more of a world builder than an actual story game. I don't know if you're talking like literally world building as in like the pieces in the world, because I know there's a lot of that in Death Stranding, or you mean the actual lore. But yeah, like Death Stranding 2 was a pretty big improvement from the first one from what I played. I got to get around to finishing that. I went on like a complete Kojima tear for a while last year, and I got to do Metal Gear Solid 4 this year. Honestly, I want to do 5 as well. There's so many games on my backlog that I just like, I'm way more motivated to tackle, like so many. I want to play 4 though. I want to do 5. I want to do Peace Walker. That was the other one. Death Stranding 2, which I know isn't like a distant backlog title, but I really enjoyed Death Stranding 1. It was very memorable. 2 just played a lot better and just like was stunning from a visual point of view. Smeep, I did. It was one of those games where also, like, there are certain games that get me like that, where the story itself kind of made me shed a tear, sure. But also it was, again, one of those feelings of, like, I don't know. For me, I'm going to sound very annoying here. But, like, when I watch the credits roll on a game, there is that, and it's a game that really, like, resonated with me. Again, right now, Pragmata is my game of the year. I was like, I love the story. I love the world. I especially love the gameplay. And it took them a while to fight through and get it out. And it's like it inspires me, where it's like, that feeling of watching the credits roll for your own game must be incredible. And I can't wait to get to that point and feel that with our own game. But it's just like, sometimes the tears go because you just, like, I desperately want to feel that. I'm eager to feel that. And also, like, it's kind of like you start to get it a little bit more as, like, your project gets its own DNA and you start to understand it. It's like, wow, what a victory. Especially to make something this unique, where it's, like, probably really tough to create reference for this type of new IP and, like, what gameplay would be like. Like, how do you explain that? It makes sense why it took so long for them to get it out. And honestly, I don't know if they turned into a franchise or not, but I just think, like, what they did there was so brilliant. But it definitely tears were shed for multiple reasons. It was a very powerful game. Retro Genie, thank you for your super chat here. Do you think a Morrowind-inspired game can work today with quality of life improvements? Yes, you should check out my video on Ardenfell. It is basically Morrowind with quality of life improvements, and it's fucking awesome, dude. Really, really cool game. Whereas something like Tainted Grail is more Skyrim-inspired. That's why we call it Indie Skyrim. Ardenfell is more Indie Morrowind. Really check it out. They have a great demo, too. And I think you'd really like it. If you're wondering what Morrowind inspired with quality of life improvements can do, like, that's your game, dude. Try it out. Icecap Lord, thank you for your super chat, dude. Trajectory of 14 story is literally like going from Clone Wars Season 3 to Season 4. A Realm Reborn is decent, Heavensward is good, but Stormblood's where you get hooked. That's an interesting comparison, because that's literally right where I stopped in Clone Wars, and I got to pick back up. It's so funny you went this way, where it's like Clone Wars Season 1 through 3, I enjoyed. I have good memories of them. But, like, Season 4, I didn't switch to because I didn't get hooked yet. It's a similar story. Dante Deontis, thank you for your super chat, dude. Good to see you again. How can Death Stranding 2 look much better than every other big budget Unreal game, and yet it runs so smoothly on all kinds of hardware? If I were to wager a guess, if Crimson Desert was anything to go by, and how developers have kind of talked about that, my guess, Dante, would just be the proprietary engine it's run on. That would be my assumption. That there is something within the Decima engine that can get... It's focused on building, like, big landscapes, high fidelity, and not really taxing the performance as heavily. That would be my guess. Otherwise, you know, good engineers, optimization. You know, the rule of thumb is optimize early and optimize often. Making a performant game is not something that just happens. It's something that's a focus from the ground up. So, you know, I think that's also a big part of it too. You know, PlayStation only released 2. I feel like that's the benefit of some exclusives, at least, where it should be, I should say, where you're optimizing for one very specific platform. So you're probably working with PlayStation engineers in that case. That's another reason, I would say. So they're very familiar with their own tech stack and kind of what they can get the most out of with their system, what they can and can't push, where it's different if you're working like PS5, Series S, Series X, Xbox Ally, Steam Deck, 1,000 different PC configs. It's a little bit more difficult, I imagine. So that'd be my guess. Envy, you're like the 40th person to ask me this. Don't worry about it. I love the random questions. He says, is there a reason why you didn't review the latest Trails game? You were always my go-to guy. So at the top of the year, I was just tired of long games. I was tired of long games. I had finished KCD2, which was one of my favorite RPGs ever, and I was really excited for Crimson Desert. So I said, you know what? I want to feel like I'm beating a lot of games, and that's what I did. Now I'm hungry for longer games. That's why I'm starting Trails now. I think because so many people have asked me about Trails Beyond the Horizon, I will probably still I'll do what I did with Digimon and just be like, hey, even though we're late, like, here are my thoughts after beating it. A lot of people in the Trails community look to me for that, and honestly, I think it's awesome. Like, I really never considered it, but like, it's really nice. The Trails community bullied me a little bit with my Daybreak 2 review. Beyond the Horizon was just, you know, it also came at a time like Falcom releases the Trails games in like January or February, and I was not in reviewer mode in January. And I kind of opted out on some titles I could have pitched for because I would have been working during my holiday, like what little holiday break I had left, because I was really working hard on my game script at that time. So it was just like a shift of focus, and that it was just a combination of all those factors on why I didn't review Horizon at this point. But I will absolutely give you some thoughts on Retro Rebound at some point when I'm done with the game, maybe in the next month or two, you know, because I say month or two because we have June kind of stacked up, and I know June with like showcases and stuff, we make some like different style retrospectives of sort of what's happening now. So I'm thinking July will probably be where it lands because I'll have time to beat it, get the footage, record some thoughts, and we're already late, so I'll put some thoughts out in like July where probably jack shit's happening. Famous last words. Looking forward to it, man. I've beaten it. Just want to know your thoughts. Thank you, Envy. Yeah, that is also the cool part about it is I'll be able to talk more spoilers, and I think that'll be interesting for Trails. I got into Trails in the Sky because of you, Maddie. Can't wait for part 2 this September. Oh, if you like, if you like part 1, part 1's great. They did a great job with the remake. Part 2 is gonna fucking blow your hair back, dude. That's one of my favorite JRPGs ever. Sky 2. Oh man, they killed it. Maddie, music got me thinking, are you concerned about Elder Scrolls without Jeremy Soule soundtrack, ignoring the surrounding context of why or why not he'd be involved? Yeah, ignoring that, of course. You know, the one of the key pieces of the soul of Elder Scrolls is Jeremy Soule. You know, like again, we're choosing to ignore some of the surrounding context and his disappearance from the industry and why that is. You know, but look, man, it's the same thing with KOTOR as well. Like KOTOR, I worry about a KOTOR remake without that music. That music is such a big part of that game's DNA. Jeremy Soule was incredibly gifted, so I do worry about Elder Scrolls 6 that is presumably scored by Einon Zur, because Einon has a very brassy, metallic, I would describe it as, style, which is why he's excellent for things like Fallout or Dragon Age Origins. Like, if Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be dark fantasy, though, then I think Einon Zur would be a perfect fit. But if it's going to be more of the magical, whimsical Elder Scrolls that we know from Morrowind to Skyrim, you know, I do have a little bit of a concern with that. You know, not because I don't think Einon Zur is good. I love Einon Zur's music. I would say that his worst effort was probably Starfield, not because it's bad, but it's very invisible. But some of the newer music that I think he did for Terran Armada was pretty good. So the soul of Elder Scrolls is soul, if you will. Yes. Could the new Xbox/PC development pipeline be optimized? Deos asks. Thank you for your super chat. I imagine, yeah, if it's a one SKU fits all, it could definitely be great for developers. I mean, it gets their game on more platforms than one by just developing for Xbox. You're everywhere. I think that's a huge win for devs, and that's a huge win for Xbox, who had a problem with developers skipping their platforms. All right, how long are we going for? About 30 minutes? How about we get into our first story, shall we? I got a GTA story for you guys here, and I'd love to dive into it and just talk a little bit about next-gen pricing, that sort of thing. So let me turn off the music for a little bit here. I'm going to make that mistake. I promise you now, I'm going to make that mistake at least once this stream. At least once. Am I the only one who thinks in some ways Starfield soundtrack sounds too much like Fallout 4? I think, Wymans, you're kind of onto something there. I could see that. I could see that. All right, let's get our first helping of slop here up on the docket. Take off the headphones for now. We don't need them. All right. Let's do some real-time slop, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I got everything good to go. Here we go. Put some meat in the chat for me, boys and girls. All right. That sounded crazy, bro. I meant like the meat emoji. Holy shit. Spam the meat emoji. All right. Whatever. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about some pricing slop. Today we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 This is a video game that is coming out this year, it seems. Finally, after a long, long wait, GTA 6 is finally in hand. Now, why is the price so important with this? It's not just about the immediate impact of how much money will GTA 6 cost me now, as in probably $80. We'll get into why. But also it's about the broad industry impact. That's why I think the price tag of GTA 6 is so important, because of how many companies will end up convincing themselves they can ship a game and charge the same price as GTA 6. You see, this is what happened with development timelines. We saw how much Rockstar was taking with their games and the way they were coming out, and a lot of developers use that as a kind of bargaining chip at the negotiation table. Like, look how long they took, and we could do the same if we took that amount of time, right? But just Rockstar is built different. They got world-class talent, and they absolutely deliver. So that's why they get to take as long as they do, or as we get into the budget for GTA 6, why they get to spend like $1 billion on a game, because they know they'll eventually make that back, because Grand Theft Auto is a cultural phenomenon. Point being, though, is if GTA 6 holds the $70 price tag, I think $80 games are completely cooked, because forevermore, that is like a legit dropped obstacle on the course where it's like, you cannot pass. You know, anyone who tries to charge $80 will be like, GTA 6 did, and what are you doing? You know? So right now, Take-Two has the very industry's fate with prices in its hands, and I think they're going to knock the door wide open. Why do I say that? Well, to start off this conversation, I think it's important to go back a little bit more. Take-Two has a history of jumping prices here. We've got right here, Take-Two CEO's next-gen price increase for NBA 2K21 is justified. Now, Strauss Zelnick has been in a positive news cycle right now. You know, I'm a CEO who hires people and gets out of the way. This was not a good time for Strauss Zelnick. We originally had the debate of jumping from 60 to 70. I think the industry fought a little bit on this, but eventually came to accept it. It's like, all right, 70. But going 70-80 has been a very much more abrasive push from the industry bigwigs. In fact, so much so that the lower price games have been exceptionally rewarded, whether you think last year with indie games, Schedule 1 comes to mind, like cheaper games like that, Friend Slop games really blowing up, Peak blowing up, or, of course, your Game of the Year in Expedition 33, or throwing more, right from Take-Two, by the way, Mafia: The Old Country. So smaller games were really getting rewarded. Lesser price games were getting rewarded. But again, jumping to 80, we saw Xbox try to do that, tongue hanging out of their mouth practically on the fucking floor. They're like, $80. Nintendo did it with Mario Kart, even though it was kind of $50. They're like, we could do that too. Outer Worlds 2. I love the Outer Worlds 2, by the way. I thought it was a really great game. But like, $80 for that? Dude, completely put a bullet in that game and just put people against it entirely. And they fought an uphill battle every step of the way. And it came out and it was actually pretty good, and no one wanted to hear about it because they were on to the next thing. That's how it goes. So anyway, let's try it again. $80 games are a tremendous uphill climb here. And we've got the Take-Two CEO justifying a next-gen price tag hike. Here's what he said. There hasn't been a price increase for frontline titles for a really long time, despite the fact that it costs a great deal more to make those titles, Zelnick said in an interview with GamesIndustry.biz. And we think with the value we offer consumers and the kind of experience you can really have on these next-gen consoles, the price is justified. Now, we're talking about NBA 2K, which will take your money and run. Now, you've seen it's gotten worse year over year. Now, he was saying this about prices going up at that time. That was 2021. You've only seen more studios shut down, more projects bloat in scale and in scope and in turn budget. People are asking for more money across the industry. Why does all of this matter? Take a look at this headline here. Not going to feel good, y'all. GTA 6's development cost estimated to be over $1 billion as Take-Two admits it's an expensive endeavor. And there are people who think this game's going to be 70. And look, I would love, because again, I just said earlier, I would love to be dead wrong, because $70 GTA 6 stops everyone in their tracks. It's a celebratory moment. It's also a moment where it's like, no one else can step in and try to go past $70. If you dare try to do that, you are absolutely screwed. Anyway, let's take a read here. This comes from Eurogamer. GTA 6 parent company Take-Two is estimated to have spent between $1 billion and $1.5 billion on Rockstar's upcoming game. That's according to Business Insider via IGN, which based these staggering figures on estimations made by industry analysts as part of an interview with Take-Two's head honcho, Strauss Zelnick. To compare to other AAA games in recent years, in 2023, Horizon Forbidden West cost $212 million to develop over 5 years of 2017 to 2022. It's 300 employees attached to the project. At the same time, PlayStation exclusive Last of Us Part 2 had cost $220 million to make with an employee count of roughly 200. And more recently, Marathon, we heard, was $200 million. So, like GTA 6, if these estimates are even close, like, let's say they're under $1 billion and they're like 700 something million. Like, we're still talking a crazy amount more money here. Zelnick himself has stated that GTA 6 has been an expensive endeavor, though he refrained from putting an actual figure on how much GTA 6 is costing its parent company. Given analysts are talking about a figure over $1 billion, though, this feels like quite an understatement from the Take-Two head. But it's not just GTA 6 development cost that has caused this discussion in the industry. It's just how much Rockstar and Take-Two will charge for the series' next car-boosting romp, which has also caused some discourse, with a report suggesting GTA could retail for $100. That's the thing. We're thinking $80. What GTA 6 could also do, because it's going to be one of those games, those forever games, like GTA 5 was a top-selling game at the end of 2025. It's a 2013 video game. And I know it's gotten its re-releases and whatnot. Big part of the conversation here as well, going from 360 to next-gen consoles at the time like PS4, Xbox One, but also going into things like PC. But still, it was a 2013 video game, effectively, that was still in the top 20. So this is a forever video game. But if Rockstar wants to really create some range, they'll start at like $100 and be like, you're going to pay for it. It's GTA 6. And from there, every single developer in this industry now has a range of $10 to $100 to work with. So that could be also the unexpected plot twist level change with a GTA 6 price tag. Now, more analysts are talking, and here's what they're saying, according to Polygon. $80 games would be good for the industry. Shut the fuck up, would you? God dang it all. How much should the next Grand Theft Auto cost? One analyst argues that GTA 6 should cost $80 for the good of the industry. Quote, we think it's in Take-Two's self-interest as a publisher and partner to many developers to raise the price point for the entire industry, explained Omar Dusiki, a Bank of America security stock analyst, in response to feedback from the Icon video game conference in Las Vegas. Icon is a new summit for C-suite executives and senior business leaders focused on the interactive entertainment industry. Dasuki's, I'm totally butchering his last name, Dasuki's comments, as reported by Seeking Alpha, come after other Icon attendees claimed they'd have difficulty selling their games for $80 if GTA 6 were cheaper. Dasuki also believes the gradual increase in the use of AI will raise the value of games to consumers. Just like a fucking generational stretch of just shit takes, dude. It's a fairly safe bet that GTA 6 will be one of the biggest games of all time, if not the biggest in the terms of scale, sales, and content. Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive, the publisher of GTA 6, said recently when talking to Bloomberg that the expectations around the game are terrifying, following it up with, our goal is to deliver consumers something that's never been experienced before. We really do aim to deliver the highest quality entertainment on earth, and that is costly, and the AI influence is notwithstanding. We haven't seen those costs decline. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. However, Zelnick said that Take-Two needs to make sure the price tag feels reasonable. So maybe that takes $100 out of the scenario. At the same time, to be fair, Take-Two has kind of been anti-AI. They've been really against that sort of stuff here. But we're seeing here that now we have analysts suggesting $80, and we've heard that it's been an expensive endeavor, according to Strauss Zelnick, and we've seen them jack up the prices before. So I feel at the very least you should expect $80. But one thing that is not being talked about as much is GTA 6 not coming to PC day one. You'd think that'd be in like Rockstar's best interest just to be everywhere, right? But I have a theory as to why they probably aren't going to be doing that. This article comes from IGN, where they say Take-Two CEO explains why GTA 6 is not coming to PC on day one. GTA 6 won't be coming to PC when it releases November 19th, and Strauss Zelnick has a reason. When speaking with Bloomberg, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick was asked why it will be skipping PC, and he says that Rockstar has always, this is the way they've always done it, and that is where the core audience is. Quote, Rockstar always starts on console because I think with regard to a release like that, you're judged by serving the core. Like really serving the core customer. If your core customer isn't there, if they're not served first and best, you don't hit your other consumers. There's a couple of ways of looking at that. One, there's the double dip, right? Or even the triple dip. There's GTA 5, 360 PS3. Yay! GTA 5, PC. I double dipped. So Rockstar at least got $120 out of me and millions of other people. Then there's GTA 5 on PS4 and Xbox One. More people buy it, clearly, because again, it was one of the top selling games of last year. So there is serving the core consumer. And there's also the fact that you could add in point two. PC gamers are a little bit, I'd say, smarter, more patient is really the term I would use. Very patient. If what happened with PlayStation was anything to go by, they'll wait you out. They don't need to indulge in certain things. The console base, and I don't say this from a PC master race perspective by any means, is a little bit more casual, and I think a little bit more of the bigger spender, right? At the same time, we talked about this with exclusivity. Someone asked in chat earlier about like, hey, how does PlayStation get performance out of the Decima engine versus something like Unreal Engine? And my theory was like, well, among many things, it's a proprietary engine. It may be specifically targeting that, just like Crimson Desert with its engine was specifically targeting certain things. And, you know, there is that element to it. There's also, with Death Stranding 2, you're focusing on one platform. In the case of GTA, they're focusing on just PlayStation and Xbox, right? So I feel like in that moment there, you could argue with the scope, scale, depth, stimulation that is created typically in a Rockstar game, that the expectation is GTA 6 will uphold that. It is in their best interest to maybe just focus on a single platform. At the same time, you think about GTA 6 and the customer base that's there and the money that would be made, and it wouldn't be the worst investment to say, hey, day one, you know, we'll be on PC as well. But part of the business strategy with a Rockstar game is just the long-term resale value, the people who rebuy, the shark cards, of course, with GTA Online. We don't really even know much about what this new iteration, if there will be a new iteration, I assume there will be one, for Grand Theft Auto Online when GTA 6 drops. But that is like the main moneymaker in the many hundreds of millions, if not billions, I think, that has allowed Rockstar to continue to spend, Take-Two to continue to spend to make GTA 6 as big as possible. Because GTA 5, when it came out, we knew it was going to be huge. I mean, GTA Online was like one of those first big crashes that happened where just like no one could get online, no one could play. It was getting memed upon a ton. Now we know what's going to happen with GTA 6. It's such a pop culture phenomenon, right? That like everyone just is making jokes about GTA 6. We got this before GTA 6. Your grandmother knows about GTA 6. Your mom knows about GTA 6. Everyone knows about GTA 6. So it is a cultural phenomenon. And with all of that in mind, I think they know this and they're going to make a ton of money. And part of that is just reselling. So my expectation again is Rockstar is probably going to, or sorry, Take-Two is going to bump the price here. I think that should be your expectation. It would be an incredible moment in our industry's history, literally, if GTA 6 was a $70 game, because it would effectively drop the barrier down forevermore. You cannot go past this until the next Rockstar game. You cannot go past this price point. You can try, but you can't. And, you know, with what the analyst had said from Bank of America, right? The idea of like, it would be good for their partners. It's like, why is that Rockstar and Take-Two's problem at all? What these companies are budgeting their projects for, scaling and scoping their projects for, how they're hiring talent, whether it be in the States where it's way more expensive or overseas where we're seeing more emerging markets from a development standpoint. You know, China's development force is just handedly beating the West, as we're seeing. I don't know if the games have, outside of Marvel Rivals, spoken to me the most personally, but there's something to be said about how it's capturing the mainstream a little bit more. We're seeing it pop up with like, you know, a Warhorse Studios. We're seeing it pop up in Japan, of course. You know, the different culture, the different amount of earnings required to live in these places versus the West. So, you know, why is that Take-Two's sole responsibility? I guess heavy is the head that wears the crown at the end of the day. Maybe they didn't choose this life, but it certainly has chosen them. And so this choice on a price tag does have a wider impact. And so that is why I am so invested in what's happening with GTA 6's prices. It's not just like, oh, I can't wait for GTA 6. Of course, I'm very interested in that. But it's really just a matter of like, if they commit to 70, that changes everything. If they commit to 100, that also changes everything, because you just open up a huge range. I guess whatever they commit to, I view it as sort of the final boss of pricing. You can't go beyond what GTA 6 is going to charge here. And certainly there will be developers and executives who have convinced themselves that they could charge that much. You know, the internet and the industry have surprised us in many a way, not always in the best way. So I'm curious what everyone's thinking about the price tag for GTA 6. You know, how y'all are feeling about $80 games, $90 games, $100 games. How far will Take-Two push things here? Based on what we're reading here, plus the past actions, like Take-Two is the one who ushered in the $70 game. Like they jumped with NBA. And so I would be so surprised if they're like, and we think, even as we're talking about how, hey, development costs are rising and, you know, we're making GTA 6, which we've spent a lot of money on, that they're just going to keep prices the same. I think they're going to kick the door open. The question is how wide they're going to kick the door open and how much their resale plans are part of that. If you're going to charge $80 now, or let's say we go up to that $90, $100 range, then when you go to resell this on PC, are you going to charge 90 or 100 there for the more, I'd say, patient player who will wait for that Steam sale if you decide to opt into that and will buy it then? Is that how it'll go for you? Like, or, you know, again, we have to think about that as well as the price declining over time. So a lot to factor in here, but definitely awaiting with bated breath for this summer where GTA 6 marketing is apparently kicking up, and we'll hopefully get a new trailer soon. That's been the rumor for a little bit now, that we'll get a GTA 6 trailer soon with the quarterly earnings report happening with Take-Two. So we'll see, but nonetheless, very keen to see how this game shapes our industry from an economic standpoint. Chat, I want to kick it to you and just see where you're at right now with GTA 6 and its pricing. How are you feeling kind of heading into the launch of this game and presumably going to $80? Cheaper digital version is a good idea, Matty Meister. I think Nintendo just started adopting that a little bit. So that'd be pretty cool. We missed a couple of super chats here. While the chat populates with some thoughts on GTA 6, I'll read them. Mithu says, I'm a huge DOA fan, and I'm glad Koei is going back to it. All I want them to do is not mess it up again. And will that be something you'll play? Yeah, I really love Dead or Alive. Since I played the third one, I played all the Dead or Alive games a decent amount. I'm a Hitomi main. I love the hard-hitting nature of Dead or Alive, the arcadey nature of Dead or Alive. Really good stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in the next Dead or Alive game. Jay Chell, thanks for becoming a member. And Matty Meister saying props to Nintendo for announcing price increases 6 months ahead and some digital games at $50. Yeah, I mean, games are their business. They have to know their customer and how they respond to things. So certainly giving them a big heads up will lead to, I think, some goodwill for sure. Honestly, not interested in GTA, but I expect it to sell for 80. 80 is fine for GTA. It's not okay for the other games that will try to follow is the issue. I agree completely with that. Since I bought an Xbox just for GTA, I guess you could say I'm spending $700 for the privilege of playing it. I've never played a GTA game. 6 will be my first. Whoa, cool. Cool. I'm not like a big GTA expert myself. Shareholders pressured Nintendo increase into $500. Shareholders asking for GTA 6 being $80 is most likely going to happen. Yes, it'll be $80. I'll pick up GTA like a year after it comes out. I love the energy. Just like, yeah, I don't fucking need to be there for one of the biggest games on earth. How about it? Hello, Rufus. Rufus might have thoughts on GTA. Let's see. Hi, buddy. Hello. You want to say hi to the stream chat? Come on up. Yeah. Yay. Yay. You're so cute. Oh. Hi. What? You want something. You can tell you want something, right? You want something. Why are you tail wagging so much, bro? He's just happy to see me. He's like, this guy is so fucking awesome. He's gonna whine in a second. Let me get this video up to Emmett in the meantime, though. So he's got some Matty slop to work with. Rufus in GTA 6. Rufus doesn't like the sound of $80. Yeah, his tail was wagging a little too much for the $80 conversation, you know? Casper J, thank you for your super chat. This mindset of consoles only is old-fashioned and outdated. 2013, we had close to 200 million consoles. Now it's less than 120 million consoles and more expensive. It's a fair point. Yeah, it's fair, dude. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I get it. I think they're looking at the resale. They're going to get people who are like on PC and console, and they're going to rebuy it on PC because Rockstar will have like cool new features that are going to excite people for PC, and like it's going to be little things like we added a first-person mode to GTA 5, and that's all some people need. They won't do this, but if they wanted, they could release GTA 6 for under $70 and still make more than pretty much any other company. Yeah, I guess the question is, would they recoup their investment, and in what time frame would they recoup said investment? Let me get the music up and rolling here again, chat. Appreciate your patience. Actually, is Discord still down? Discord's still down. I can't send Emmett any of the files. No, I don't even know if he's in chat. I just don't want 7 to 10 hour games charging GTA 5, 6 prices. Yeah. See, that's the thing, Alan, is like, it's gonna, like, you know they're gonna do it, though. That's the problem. You know they're gonna be like, well, this is like a high quality experience. Like, we put everything into these 10 hours. It's like, man, I don't buy it. Send it to him on Skype. Yeah, Skype would never let me down like this, bro. I was a Skype user. When you know, when I played on PlayStation a lot, that's where my friends and I would chat. We would just go on Skype. TeamSpeak. Nice throwback. If they do go with $80 and we start to see others follow suit, do you think we'll see a lot of people start pushing back on it? I think it'll be case by case. I think $80 is reserved for the kind of country club games. The luxurious, high-class, known IP type of game. I think if you show up in the market and you're a new IP, again, I think of like a Pragmata, you cannot be charging like 80. Even like Pragmata is amazing, but you just don't have the social sway. Like a Fallout could maybe get away with it. I know people are not a fan of Bethesda, but like Fallout, Elder Scrolls will try to get away with it. GTA, you know, things that are cemented in pop culture that you know you want or you're familiar with. I think those are the ones that'll get away with it. But I think the newer games that are going to try to charge 80, I mean, best of luck. Matty Meister, thank you again for your super chat. Did you see Sony CEO's thoughts on AI? Yes, we recorded a video on it just before this stream, and that is what I'm going to be uploading tomorrow. Some thoughts on that on top of what's happening with Marathon and Bungie and just that whole mess there, too. Any news about your beloved Star Wars game coming out? Gotta wait until Summer Games Fest. Yeah, Ethan, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know when we're going to get updates on the KOTOR remake. I don't know when we're going to get updates on even Star Wars Zero Company. I thought we'd get that on May the 4th. Actually, when is Star Wars Celebration? Wait, did it already happen? 2026. There's no major multi-day Star Wars celebration schedule for 2026? Really? Wait, really? Why wasn't... Isn't Star Wars Celebration like an annual thing? Why wasn't there a Star Wars... Help me out, Internet. In 2026. Next year in LA is... Okay, so is Star Wars Celebration end every year? No, it's not held every year. Okay, it's just me being out of touch. It's typically occurring every 1 to 3 years rather than annually, with locations changing for each event. Oh, and next year it's in LA. I could try to go to that. I heard buying the tickets for this, though, was a mess. He's got to do his own Star Wars celebration. I do, man. I barely got anything to celebrate, though. Tickets already sold out. Yeah, I'm cooked, bro. I'm cooked. I can't dream anymore. We got Halo Fest this year, though. Thank God. Thank God for that. You know, Halo Studios going to come out and do their thing, aren't they? Man. Halo, man. Halo. Just don't even get me started. Don't even say their name. Don't even say their fucking name. me get our next tab up here. Let's talk about Lego Batman next. Let's see here. You might hear IGN's preview in the background for a sec here.
It pains me to say that it...
Yeah, we're gonna watch that alongside reading a couple of previews. Yeah, Dave saying hand off the Halo franchise to better writers and say 4 through 6 was a bad dream. I'd love that. It's the same thing. Like, would Disney do that with the sequel era of Star Wars? Probably not. You know, I think we're just unfortunately stuck with Halo Studios. Like, I don't think there's any saving us, chat. I think we're just very, very stuck right now with Halo. Ice Cap Lord, thank you for your super chat. The memes about Star Fox are killing me, but graphically it looks like the first from-scratch Switch 2 game. I wish Panzer Dragoon looked this good. Yeah, we'll talk about Star Fox a little bit and his graphical style. Like, there's parts like the flying around and shooting and the environments that look, I think, really good. I think it's so interesting to see how good the movie character looked and how strange Star Fox kind of looks. Slippy looks all right. Hare looks, I think Hare is his name, the rabbit dude. They look good. I didn't have the strong reaction people had to Falco. Star Fox is the one I was like, oh, he kind of looks like that, like, really disheveled fox meme, you know? Zencha, thank you for your $10 super chat. I know the odds are low, but with these somewhat aggressive moves by Asha, do you think there's a possibility we get another 360 era early console launch? Xbox needs that for hardware to compete, in my opinion. Yeah, I think, well, there's a couple of things, right? You need the games ready that are going to push people to the hardware. And then the hardware needs to be somewhat affordable so that people are motivated to go pick it up. And I guess there's such a slow adoption rate of this generation that, like, they just stopped making Call of Duty for PS4. You know, think about how fast, like, we thought it took forever to move on from the 360 and PS3, right? Because we moved on in like a year and a half, 2 years. We were kind of like, it felt like outside of some franchises, we were basically done. But then with this generation, we've just kept hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. Like when I remember like recoiling, seeing like Jedi Survivors releasing on PS4, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Like, I just can't. So, you know, I think it's really hard to imagine, like, if Xbox were to ship Elder Scrolls 6, like it being a Helix exclusive. Like, it's got to be on series consoles too, right? So you need to kind of drive people into that, and it can't just be a tech upgrade. It's just tough. Launching early would have worked years ago when there was a lot more interest in Xbox, but they got to recover their brand more before they start, like, trying to beat out PlayStation, that sort of thing. His name is Peppy. I called him Hare. Is it Peppy the Hare? Did I at least get something right there? Do you think the GameCube Game Boy player is worth getting? Maddie, I think it's... okay, depends how much money you got, because, like, I think it's cool to have. I've used it. It's nice. It's good on, like, older TVs. It doesn't work well with newer TVs because it just, like, you're stretching it already like a GBA title. That said, if you have an analog pocket and you can get that plus the dock, that I think is one of the best ways to play your Game Boy games on the big screen. Peppy O'Hare is his name. Oh, okay. See, Uncharted Wolf just being an expert on this shit is you know, that's worse than what I'm doing here right now. All right, let's just be clear about it. O'Hare is a hilarious last name for a rabbit character, though. Do you prefer being good or evil in Fable? Evil. Evil's hilarious in Fable, especially Fable 1. It's so funny. Did you see Moore's Law is Dead's latest video? Helix Alpha kits are going out to devs next year. Cool. Yeah, I thought we already learned that through Xbox themselves. Because I think they said just at GDC, they were like, we're sending out dev kits soon. You have a decent sized CRT, Matty Meister? Okay, I think you'd be fine with the Game Boy player, personally. Man can't love his furry space animals without getting roasted. You're a good sport. But look, we have to sometimes take people to task like that. Looks fine enough. I just forgot how short Star Fox is. People are saying 3 hours, possibly 4 to 5 hours. That's $10 per hour. Many games today are 2 to 3 hours per. I wouldn't worry about the $2 to $3 hour range. Like, I wouldn't even think about games that way, man. You gotta like look at it more experiential, just a little bit. Even as someone who like used to look at just like the end result. Like, I spent $60 and I got 50 hours out of Assassin's Creed. Like, you know, that's fine, but the kind of dollars per hour thing just doesn't scale well. It's just going to be different for literally every game. V0, thank you. Appreciate you. Doing well. Headed back to work in the most... Okay, Ethan, thanks, dude. Take care, dude. Oh, yeah, we did get that announcement yesterday, Turtle Deity, with the RE9 Leon Must Die mode. It looks all right. I kind of did the, you know, that was kind of my reaction. I was like, not really what I was fully looking for. Not even story stuff, just looking at, like, mercenaries and whatnot. That mindset, let's just all play AC Valhalla forever. Yeah, like AC Valhalla keep you busy, but like for a long time. But is that what you want? You know, if you think dollars per hour, that's what you're gonna get. It's really hard for games to just scale in quality as they get bigger. Seems like Crimson Desert for a lot of people was that exception though. Sorry, my blanket's like completely bunched up on me here. Is it Mercenaries, but just with Leon? It looks like more of an arcadey level by level mode. I thought Mercenaries was more of just like, here's a dedicated level and like you try to see how long you can survive for. Milkman Billy says, how's the back today? Are you recovered? Like 50% there, dude. This is the first time I've like, I was talking to my wife, this is the first time I've actually like felt an age, you know? Like when I've hurt my back before, it's like, you know, I've heard it really bad before, like when I was in my late 20s, and like that took a while to recover. But this one here, like, your boy was just, you know, raking the backyard, laying some mulch out, laying some seeds out, lifting some bags, shoveling a little bit. It was manual labor. Don't get me wrong. It was hard manual labor. But I was thinking like shoulders. You know, that's going to be where I'm going to feel it. Maybe neck. Maybe the biceps a little bit. I haven't lifted in a while. But lower back and like, dude, it's still like fucking... Chiropractor helped me a little bit. Like my back's in that... It's clearly like a muscular thing because he like tried to, you know, do what a chiropractor does and pop your back into place. But it didn't really go. But like the TENS unit and the warm heat and the stretching on the table, that like helped a ton. I think I need a second one of those this week though, dude, because it's like... It flared up, honestly, last night into today. It's just uncomfortable. It sucks. But like I said, this is the this is the first time I felt my age where I'm like, dude, I hurt my back on like Sunday. Like it's I should be good to go. I haven't been able to exercise or anything, man. It's that tough like line to walk when you get a little bit of a back injury because you're like, sometimes movement heals, but sometimes with back injuries, like too much movement's bad. Gamer back. Yeah, gamer back for sure. Would you consider doing a Let's Play channel? Probably not, Ollie. I like to play games on my own. I review a ton of them too, so even like the games that I would do. I've had thoughts. Like I had thoughts one time of like, while I'm like, how much do I want to optimize my playing time as like content? So when I sit down to play a game, I'm usually by myself, and it's like, do I want to just record myself playing the game and then I can throw that up on a separate channel, on top of then like producing the review? I don't know. It just doesn't really. It doesn't really. I've also thought about like just doing like raw gameplay channels in the past. Like I capture so much footage and then just putting it up and kind of making it free for everyone to use. I've considered that. I called it like, my idea was calling it like the Retro Vault, but also didn't really like. It just, again, it was one of those things where it's like another box you have to check on top of all the other stuff you're doing. It's not like a separate category like what we're doing here. Where it's like it's a stream day and we produce everything in that window and like we're good. That would be more like extending a process that already exists. Yeah, exactly. Rilo put it like, yeah, you mix the two, you kind of like shit and where you eat a little bit. You take a little bit of love out of it. Like I've always said, whether it's working on content or working on making games, like loving playing is such an important part of the process. It's like just creatively rejuvenating. It's fun. It's decompression time. It's already like work oriented, and I don't want to get it more work oriented. Like I do admire Let's Players because they do just like, they can't just play games in certain like I like being able to take my Switch. I already feel confined. I'll put it this way. I already feel like I have to play games in this room, which isn't like the worst problem to have. But I miss like just being able to think more like, what do I want to do? Grab my Switch, grab my Steam Deck. But now it's like, do I need to capture anything? What if I do? What if I need to use this later? I should probably play here. That's how it usually goes. So if you add into that, you need to be on the microphone and the camera and the lights have to be on. It's like, that's not really a gamer setting. So to me, it's that I can't let go of that part. Like it's already work in a good way. I don't want to turn it to work in a bad way. Would you ever collaborate with other retro channels like Scott the Wise, Ant Dude? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love Scott the Wise. Yeah, totally. Stretching has saved you, Milkman. All right. Yeah, so what I've been doing these last few days is working on core strength. That's what I've been told by like, so my chiropractor is like a sports doctor as well, and he does a really good job with like he's fixed me before when I've been making mistakes when I've been like training and stuff. So he's been really helpful with that sort of stuff. But he was like, start exercising the abs, bro. Like every day, planks. Like don't do any like sit-ups or anything, like hinging. Like I've noticed that's my weakness, hinging. You know, any exercise that does this to my lower back, it's just a recipe for flare-ups. It sucks, dude. So I have to be very picky. But stretching, I think I need to add into my, especially for how much I sit. Stretching, I have to add into my mixture. Lily, I can walk him. I can pause. You sure? All right, thank you. Wifey's got me hooked up. You're working max overtime for us. I mean, yeah, but also I really love it, you know? Like, it's a lot. Sometimes there's definitely weeks where it's just a little too much, but for the most part, it's just kind of like I'm enjoying my life, so it's like, I appreciate it. But yeah, it definitely is a full plate, and I don't think I need to add more to it. But I'm always very appreciative that people want to see more. I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're on Slop streams, Mr. Matty, Retro Rebound, hopefully soon getting games from us. And then I'm flirting with shorts on Retro Rebound. Specifically, good feels, good vibes, nostalgic-driven shorts, you know, that are more original and less reusey. And I'm really happy. We've been doing some drafts of those. I got a couple in the bank right now because we've been like testing, iterating. James, who was our editor for the shorts, has been here. And they've been like turning out really good. Like I feel pretty good about them, where I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel like I'm adding like to this fucking cesspool. Like I feel I'm a positive contributor to it. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm bending the knee a little bit. I've realized like I got to get out there more. I want to grow the platform, not like for money. As I've said before, it's just about like exposure for the game we're working on. That's like really important to me. So I think I just need to start getting out to that audience more and just trying to get them to come to the channel and just see what we're doing here. So the shorts idea, I'm pretty proud of it though. I've been really thoughtful with it and trying to pick like, okay, you know, I know if I did like news and stuff, I'm sure that would bang a little bit more, maybe one day, but like that's where my long form stuff really lies. I already feel like there's a little bit of incidental overlap with like streams, videos, and slop, like, you know, those three kind of together. As like the Mr. Matty identity, if you will, kind of gets redefined, where we focus on previews, reviews, and video essays, that sort of stuff I want to kind of look to. So right now there's a bit of overlap, so I don't want to like just add into that pile like shorts. So then I basically created like a drip feed of like video, slop, shorts. So to me, something more original for shorts that's more nostalgic and more like you kind of just like, oh, I'm going to learn a little something here. Or you know, like an example would be, I didn't do this short yet, but I wanted to talk about Remember Me, which is a Capcom published game that was made by Don't Nod, and it has like a whole combo lab and stuff. It's like set in Neo Paris. And since Pragmata was really vibing with people, my mindset, well, like one of my random ideas that I scratched was like, hey, if you think like weird Capcom was cool, here's another weird Capcom game, and kind of turn it into a mini retrospective. For some, kind of lets me get some of the games in that I probably won't make dedicated videos to, like Remember Me. I don't think I would do that unless it got like remastered or something. Then I would actually make a video on that. But like that's sort of like where my head is at, like little things like that. Or we're going to talk about Frutiger Aero and sort of that tropical era of early 2000s stuff, games, why it existed, what was happening with technology then. Little just like, hey, did you know? The more you know, that fun stuff. You need something like Scott Stash. I mean, that's kind of, Matty Slop is our equivalent of Scott Stash. Like, for example, we're about to talk about Lego Batman. I would normally, I mean, the solution to a actual Scott Stash for Retro Rebound is just to upload more on Retro Rebound. We upload twice a week. I've talked to Josh about doing more there. And like, so as things, like, basically I got this, like, to give you guys some transparency on where my head's at, I have these like meters in my brain, like Mr. Matty's at 4 videos a week. Slop is like borderline daily, but that's really easy because like Emmett does a really good job just pumping out the edits real quickly, and they're done like in this stream, which we're usually here for like 2.5, 3 hours. And then, so like that's kind of accounted for on its own. Retro Rebounds 2, then there's the game development duties, then there's defining Duke. So there's a lot to account for. And what I basically want to do is kind of move some of those meters into different places. Like I would like to do more on Retro Rebound. I enjoy it more. To tell you the truth, I think the audience is just like way nicer. And I don't mean that in a soft way. I just mean like nicer as in it's classic audience, classic YouTube audience. It's like, oh, games. I'm here to talk games. We don't really get into business much. I've only been flamed on like 3 videos on Retro Rebound. Like it's never been horrible there ever. Where Mr. Matty plays, like I got some PTSD where I just like step into every time I put up a new video on that channel. I'm just ready to open up to a comment section, fucking tear me apart. That's my mindset with every video. I would like to lessen that feeling and focus more on like video essays and reviews where I know no matter what, I feel very confident. Where news, I never feel confident. It's like I could just say one fucking sentence and it's on Reddit and it's on Twitter, and then it's just a rancid comment section, and that's my week. And you have to dig yourself out of that hole. I don't feel like reviews and video essays are that kind of environment. So I want to kind of get there with this channel, but obviously without like shaking things up dramatically, because that's for anyone who wants YouTube 101, terrible idea. Do not like shake the boat dramatically. You got to like make sure the audience likes it. I might do video essays and y'all be like, you're a news guy, dude. Like I've tried that before, right? I've tried ideas like here's this series we ran called Humanity's Worst Games. And it ended up working out really well for Retro Rebound because that audience is more into like me playing shitty old like Sonic 06. This audience is more like, no, we're into the current stuff. So scaling that sort of stuff is sort of like a priority in my brain, you know? So at the end of the day, people suck. Matty Meister, thank you again for you, dude. You've been carrying this stream, dude. Thank you for your super chat. Treat yourself to something. Please stop giving your money. Used to watch you a long time ago at the cusp of the Fallout 4 rumor videos. Recently discovered your Retro Rebound. Was like, wait, I know this guy. Thank you. Yeah. Retro Rebound, a lot of people step into that and don't even like I've noticed a lot of people watch that and don't even know about my other stuff. You realize how big the internet is. I felt that with PAX East 2 years ago. I went there with my wife and friends, and I got recognized a few times, which some PAXs it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's always a pleasure when it does happen because it's just really nice to get to talk to those who watch the content. And I got recognized once as Mr. Matty, and it was the most I've ever been recognized at a place, which was kind of cool. But like, I got recognized like 14 different times as Retro Rebound. Like, yo, you're Retro Rebound. Like, I was like, whoa. I thought that was fucking awesome, dude. That was a really cool feeling. I was like, sweet. Like, people, I have this whole other alias that people don't even know before, and it's technically my bigger channel, my more successful channel. The internet's just huge, dude. You know, there's definitely more overlap with like MattyPlays and Matty Slop for sure. But with Retro Rebound, it's just a whole different entity to people. And it's a whole different audience. I could not post on MrMattyPlays a review on Digimon and get over 100K views. It just doesn't go that way on this channel. It doesn't. This audience likes hardcore Western role-playing style games and news. But if I brought in like Spider-Man 3 retrospective, which has almost like 500,000 views on my Retro Rebound channel, that would have done like 2K views. It's just different. Like, different audiences do exist. It's a really interesting thing. Jay Duncan says, man, I'm sorry you've been a victim of so much toxicity. Personally, I've really loved your content. You seem like one of the chillest guys on YouTube. Don't feel bad for me. It's fine. Everyone deals with it, dude. Like, I'll put it this way. Again, like, Jake Baldine is known as one of the nicest dudes on the games industry. And, like, someone was hitting him up on his mixtape impressions on Twitter being like, how much do they pay you for this? And I'm like, bro, it's just all of us. We all got to deal with it. We all deal with it differently. You can feel when frustration boils over more than others. For me, I had a lot last year of just it kept boiling over, and I had to like vent a ton. This year, I have a lot more of a relaxed feel. I think just because like streaming and stuff, I felt more connected to the audience, and I felt a little more confident and just self-assured. So, you know, that all kind of like came together nicely for me. But like, yeah, it just comes in waves. There's times where it just feels like you can't win, but definitely with like. What I would say, I mean, victim of toxicity is one thing, but it's always like there's different communities. There's so many communities on the internet. You're probably going to piss someone off, and they all happen to be very loud and vocal. So like sometimes I'll say something that suddenly like the PlayStation audience is championing. And because they're championing that, then the Xbox audience on like Twitter specifically will see that and be like, fuck this guy. And so they'll come to the video and like attack me. And all of a sudden like the comment section gets like really nasty. Same thing, vice versa. Like I'll say something. Now these Xbox people who are tearing me apart are like, yeah, this is fucking great take. Like, yeah, share. PlayStation audience like, Dad, how dare he? And they'll dive into the comment section and be like, yo, fuck you, bro. This happens every single time on Defining Duke, almost on a weekly basis. So there's a level of like, I don't want to be fully disconnected from the audience because like, here we are. This is super important. But it's definitely something we all deal with. And so it's the unpredictability of that. Like, I made a joke to one of my friends who does work at Xbox about mixtape, just because I like to, like, I curse a ton. I like to flip shit off. Like, I joke around like that. He knows this. So when he said, like, you could flip shit off in mixtape, I was like, oh, you had me at flipping shit off, because he knew that about me. And so he understood that. And then a bunch of people just like, clearly this tweet got shared. And a bunch of people were like, you're a fucking loser, bro. I'm like, all right, dude, like, Jesus, man. Like, you just don't know when shit's going to get shared. So that's why, like, retrospective content's really nice, because it's just, like, for the gamer at the end of the day, not the reactor. So I appreciate it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, we all deal with it. It's like, you know, I could be anybody and you deal with it to different levels. Sure. But you know, I appreciate it, Jay Duncan. You're cool though. No worries. Matty Meister says, I loved ranking Fallout games / DLC. Easy to watch. Yeah. Ranking stuff's fun. I mean, there's certain videos you go in knowing you kind of kick the hornet's nest a little bit. Like, ranking stuff is usually a trigger for people. So it's like you go in like a little more like, all right, here we go. We know we're going to ruffle some feathers here. Sonic PO6's final release is soon? Really? Oh, I am the Armageddon. You just made my fucking day, dude. Are you serious? When is it? That's sick, man. I fucking love 06. That's like my favorite Sonic game. For PO6 specifically, because it feels so great. Not the story, though. Ready with Freddy. Hey, Matty, you inspired me to start filming gameplay videos. Is there any advice you can give for video quality after editing? If you're editing in Sony Vegas, right-click your video file and disable resample. They do some sort of resampling thing that can blur your footage, and this kind of clears it up. This was like an old trick I learned during the Call of Duty days, and it just makes your gameplay roll nice and smooth. Definitely look up some key render settings online. You can get the most out of, like, if you use your GPU, you can get the most out of a video's quality without having to tax your render time because it's using more hardware-based stuff. So you can look at that stuff and check it out. But hey, congrats on the channel launch. Best of luck, my friend. Just keep posting, stay disciplined, and you'll find your place on this lovely website. So best of luck, and thanks for the support here. All right, I think it might be time to talk a little bit about what's it called? What is it? The Lego Batman previews. Ari Amber, thank you for your super chat. Starting the Evil with One, based on your recommendation. Looking forward to it after playing the original 4 Silent Hills. After a few Resident Evils. Oh, you've been on like a tear. That's sick. I have not played Silent Hill 1 or 4. I've heard that playing Silent Hill 3 before 1 is not a great idea, but I felt like I kind of understood it. You know, I talked about it pretty in depth on our Retro Rebound about the game, but 4 really interests me because I think it's all set in like an apartment, so it's kind of neat. But Evil Within, dude, enjoy. Evil Within is fucking great. It is so great. Highly recommend. So please enjoy. I think it was super overlooked at its launch. All right, let's talk a little bit about Lego B-Man, shall we? Let's get this rocking and rolling here. Yeah. My wife called me a nerd. You hate that my most anticipated game is a Lego game? No. You don't? Oh, okay. I'm 30 though. Okay. Go on upstairs, Forrest. Okay. Forrest is going to hang out, I guess. All right. Let's dive into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not slop today. We're talking about Lego Batman. This is my most anticipated game of the year. I'm not kidding. When we did an episode of Summon Sign on Last Stand Media, we sat down, talked about our top games of the year, and then Brad, the host of the show, was like, what are you guys looking forward to most in 2026? And top of my list was Lego Batman. Like, dude, it is right up there. Just creme de la creme, crown jewel, the return of the Arkham-style gameplay. Give me that. I've been burnt by Rocksteady after Suicide Squad, which I somehow managed to complete. So I am so ready for two of my favorite things to come together, Lego and Arkham. Now, the game is coming out this month. There's a lot to be said about it. We have written previews and we have a video preview that is really important to pay attention to here. So we're going to go through some impressions here from Polygon, from Games Radar, as well as the video preview from IGN. The video preview from IGN is important because we have to get into performance. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is in a little bit of a concerning place when it comes to performance because they dropped their PC system requirements on Twitter. And you can see here that it hits medium settings, 1440p at 60 FPS, but it needs DLSS, FSR, or XeSS to reach that. So as I've talked about before, when it comes to quality of shipping titles nowadays, what's occurred is DLSS used to be again, we'll give you bonus frames. So you hit 60 with your hardware, which we have optimized it for, and then you'll get a little bit more juice because of AI. It's like, cool, love AI. Now it's like, hey, we made this really ambitious open world game. To get this even to a performance state at medium settings, you're going to need DLSS. And we know they could squeeze a little bit more out of this. I believe they also moved the date up for Lego Batman which I think is like a whole other can of worms. Is like you moved up the date, but yet, as we'll see with the video preview from IGN, there were some frame drops. So I want to kind of get into all of these different pieces of information across all of these different previews. I just realized I forgot to turn off my Skyrim music, so I hope you enjoyed that. Now let's continue on with the review or preview from Polygon here. All right. They say they built a whole dang Lego Batman Arkham game or Batman Arkham game out of Lego, which just, again, like that's the sales pitch right there. Okay. So let's get to reading here because, again, there's a lot to kind of unpack with what Polygon has to share here. They say the year is 2026, and I have gasped at the scope of the in-game map. I thought nothing would surprise me at this point. After months of mildly insecure hype over the scale of Crimson Desert, I knew to expect a map 4 times the size of Skyrim or whatever, and nowadays even major undertakings can feel more additive than revelatory. But I underestimated how hard TT Games would go to make the most expansive Lego Batman game of all time, complete with a big old map. In late April, I played 2 hours of Legacy of the Dark Knight and got a taste of all the multitude of gameplay elements TT Games snapped together to do justice to every iteration of the DC Comics character. There's clever platforming through scenes in Batman Forever. There are collectible-driven mazes and construct a way out Lego puzzles inspired by the Batman, which I was like, oh hell yeah, they're even pulling from the Matt Reeves Batman movie. Are you kidding me? That is one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way. That is one of the reasons I'm so excited about this game. Is like so many of my favorite movies are Batman movies, but the Batman is like, I do love like Dark Knight, of course, iconic Batman movie, but like, dude, the Batman. Oh my God. Like the shots from that movie, the music, something in the way, like, come on now. I absolutely adore that movie. And I've been trying to convince my wife for a while to watch it, but it's 3 hours, so it's like a tough watch for her. You can drive the Tumbler from Christopher Nolan's trilogy while dressed as Frank Miller's Batman. But most surprising, what made me exclaim like a dork was a multi-island open-world Gotham City bursting with minifig crime. TT Games made an Arkham game, the gliding, sleuthing, and slap-happy combos built entirely out of bricks. So this opening alone is what has me excited because I got this game here on my 360 side of my shelf here. It's called Lego Batman 2. Lego Batman 2 was so exciting and important for me personally because when I was kind of falling out of Lego games a bit, I was like, okay, Lego Star Wars is sick. We love Complete Saga. Okay, Lego Batman 1's more of Lego Star Wars, but it's now Batman. That's sick. Indiana Jones was really good too, but some of the levels in Lego Indiana Jones were really long. But then I'm like, okay, we need a refresh. And I remember just on a whim watching an IGN review for Lego Batman 2, and they're like, yeah, and it's open world. That changed everything for my brain. So to kind of hear that they're going back to that with Lego Batman and sort of reinventing what a Lego open world is like is sick. So let's just keep reading a little bit here. They say, throughout my 2-hour preview, I was dropped into a handful of stages throughout the early game when Batman is already in full hero mode. But as teased in animated cutscenes and snippets of gameplay footage I viewed on site, Legacy of the Dark Knight squeezes in the full Bruce Wayne origin story too. How many other Lego games open with murder? This one does. And once again, the death of Bruce's parents drives the young billionaire to embark on a training world tour straight out of Batman Begins. Early on, he'll meet Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows to become Gotham's fingerless Lego savior. One thing that I noticed with these previews that I think y'all will find very interesting with Lego Batman is that the story is its own individual thing, but it also takes from the movies and stuff. Like you have the Batman animated show opening as one of the cutscenes in the game, but it's telling its own story. So it's a lot of nods to all the history from Batman, all the movies and whatnot, even down to, I got to find this real quick. They literally took the Lego Batman, or they took something that, let me just find it. Hold on. This will be worth it. Hang on. It's from Michael Caine. Okay, here it is. So there's this iconic typo tweet from Michael Caine. He posted this saying, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. Batman Begin. Now, this is in the Lego Batman game. Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up. Batman Begin. So like they're leaning into all of the Batman culture while telling its own Batman story, which I love kind of the direction they're going in. Now, they talk a little bit about gameplay here in this Polygon preview. They say different sections of the game will pair you with different companion characters. When you're playing solo, they aid in fights, or you can take over them to utilize their special skills. I found myself sticking to Batman for the most of the fighting. While you can combo with each character's special skills, you can also only punch goons in the face while pretending you're Batman and grimacing as Batman and screaming, "I'm Batman," in a room full of people trying to concentrate while playing the actual Batman figure in my extremely childish experience. But judging from what I encountered in the open world Gotham, you'll need every character's skills to 100% what looks to be a dizzying amount of Riddler and Clue Master brain teasers. Zooming out on the map makes clear how serious TT Games took the work to create a game that could work for all ages. A one-off mission would be perfect for kids, but for adults, the open world brainworms will have plenty to plow through, and with a fleet of Batmobiles to choose from. For the sake of seeing how much is possible, I didn't even dare try to enter the Dark Knight difficulty mode. This is the first LEGO game with difficulties, by the way, which promises to up the ante for anyone who thinks they're too good to play the Batman LEGO game. Talking to the creative team at TT Games after the preview, it was clear that they learned a lot from their minor collaborations with Rocksteady over the years and worked to live up to that franchise as much as anything else. It's a sophisticated game. So it's an open world experience, and they're including the Riddler trophies, which I was not fully aware of, but like there's actual like straight up brain teasers and like actual puzzles to solve. One of my favorite things about the Arkham series was just the kind of flow of the open world, and just like I feel like doing some challenges or flying around and then hearing the phone ringing in Arkham City, and it was Victor Zsasz, like the kind of creepy nature of it. Like that was really cool. So that was a little bit looking into what we had going on here with Polygon. So now we go into Games Radar, where they say Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight sits in an odd place for me. I thought it was a little bit of a balance here. I haven't played much of TT's Lego games in a while, and yet the 3-hour preview I was given of the upcoming DC adventure game still felt very unfamiliar, not because of its lineage as a Lego game, but instead its clear ambition to channel Rocksteady's Arkham series, of which I consider myself a full-fledged expert, as in every Riddler trophy in every game. Yeah, I'm that freak. He says, that puts me in a tricky position. On one hand, I know that we're probably not getting any more Arkham games anytime soon, so Legacy of the Dark Knight is the best I'm going to get. But on the other hand, this is a game that, at its best, while not trying to mimic the superhero series that defined the 2010s. So it's saying that like when it's not trying to mimic it, it's a little bit better. And that's so I was like, oh, interesting. What does that mean? So he says, stop me if that sounds familiar. There's a counter-focused melee system in the combat where you paradoxically charge up takedowns, an open-world Gotham where you can hook shot and glide around blocky skyscrapers, a detective mode to highlight objects, and even a selection of Batmobiles to tear around in the streets, picking up side quests and Riddler puzzles while occasionally taking a break to disassemble some purse snatchers. Jimmy Sedota, assistant design director, I am struggling to read today, I apologize, for TT Games, assures me in an interview that I'm not misreading the situation. That original Arkham Asylum game, it made you feel like Batman. Our favorite quote, it made you feel like fill in the blank. So we absolutely looked to that as a source of inspiration. We built from that the ground up at TT for what we thought could be the best combat experience for a Lego game. TT Games even considered the series VR game and what it might have to offer. Not a lot to pull from that, Sedota adds quickly, wisely preempting my obvious follow-up. There's a throwaway mention of looking at other Batman games, but Sedota offers no specifics. The message is clear here. The Arkham games rule supreme. So it's like, they're making sure they're looking at that trilogy. So for people like me who are fans of Batman Vengeance, maybe it's like maybe a little less for us here, but still. He says, now the similarities are not a bad thing, especially with Arkham Knight being over 10 years old. We're well overdue for a true successor, but Arkham Asylum and City are some of the greatest superhero games of all time. If you're going to invite comparisons, then you need to be worthy of them. Trouble is that Lego Batman's attempt to recreate some of the systems feel a bit stiff and clunky, which is perhaps inevitable considering it's all modeled on plastic toys with limited articulation and geometric shapes. So yeah, we're starting to see here a little bit more nuance, rationality in a take here from Games Radar, which again, for me, I'm like full-blown hype, so I kind of need this stuff in my life. It says, see, the Arkham series had a mastery of flow in all forms, which isn't quite present here. Bats doesn't so much acrobatically pounce at villains as slide over and clock somebody. The animations not always threading together. Outside of combat, traversal felt sticky as the grapnel gun seemed to incline to target every ledge except the one you're actually aiming for. I spent nearly 5 minutes fighting the controls while trying to ascend one building and eventually just gave up and went to do something else. And that's nothing to say of the stealth, which is so rudimentary that there isn't even a crouch button. You just run up behind the burly mooks and press a button to end them. Does this matter to you? The stealth part? I don't know if I need like super serious hardcore stealth. I like that there was the straight up like ledge perching and just using the grapnel gun to get around the high parts of the room. As we'll see with the IGN preview with some video footage, you'll see how like narrow the vision cones are and how simple it is. It's definitely some trivialized looking stealth, but like to me, the real win here is free flow combat. At the same time though, we kind of saw this for ourselves a bit with some of the animation work, that it was like, it definitely has good free flow work. At the same time, it's not, you know, the smoothest transition from like move to move. And the question is like, did they bring in things such as like gadgets that can function within the open world and how you explore that, but also within the actual combat system? One of the strengths of the Arkham games was that sort of Metroidvania feel, while also just, again, like all the tools you got will let you get around the world, but also fuel that combat system. So let's see what else is here, and then we'll jump over to IGN. But fair is fair. The Arkhamizing of the LEGO formula is not without its upsides. The Batmobile drives better than it ever did in Arkham Knight, which I think is kind of huge. I kind of like driving around the Batmobile in Arkham Knight, especially because in this game, it looks like there's a populated city. And this time it doesn't overstay its welcome. The puzzles in the main story were child-friendly, but some of the optional brain teasers in the open world required at least a moment's mulling over. The new direction has also resulted in some tweaks that prioritize depth over width. The now traditional LEGO cast of dozens has been boiled down to 7 playable characters: Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman, Batgirl, Talia al Ghul, and Commissioner Gordon for some reason. What was with that Commissioner Gordon slander, man? Come on now. Each one has a couple of abilities. Catwoman can whip things and send cats through air vents, for example, and is also given a small, unique skill tree to work through. Batman doesn't do it alone, explained Sedota. We wanted to focus on not only Batman, but the Bat family. And so we wanted to make sure that we looked at every character. We wanted them to be the best representation, a true representation of who that character is. And we wanted that to come through with the gameplay in their mechanics. So a lot of people were a little bit in the middle on all this. I really like that they kind of committed to a different direction, because this felt fresh. For me, the kind of running around as all the collectible LEGO characters was cool. We have a ton of games of that, and specifically we have 3 different LEGO Batman games as that. If the trade-off was you get free flow combat but less playable characters, I was more into that personally. Now, continuing on here, while I'm not sure LEGO Batman is very good at being an Arkham game, it's still a perfectly good LEGO game. God knows TT has no shortage of practice there. The levels I'm shown are colorful and imaginative, blending recognizable DC iconography with affectionate absurdity. There's an emphasis on interactivity with everything around you, and 20 years after LEGO Star Wars, there's still a simple pleasure in scooping up studs and collectibles, watching a growing collection of costumes and cars materialize in the Batcave. And of course, it's as reliably funny as every LEGO game before it. One gag that kept catching me off guard was the citizens of Gotham seeming to genuinely perceive Batman as a large bat, even when they were able to clearly see he's a man in a costume from 3 feet away, where they say, where'd that giant bat learn to dance? So yeah, that was about the end of the preview there. And so to me, that was a good balanced look. Like, it was like, okay, this person who considers themselves an Arkham games expert was like, yeah, really great LEGO game. Maybe not the best Arkham game, but it seems like it strikes a line there. So now we got to go ahead and take a look at what's going on here with IGN, because we get to visualize some of this. We'll do a little bit of what we did for the Mouse PI for Hire discussion, where we'll kind of pause and play and chat a little bit and see what's going on with Batman here on IGN. So let me go ahead and get rid of the image on screen here and then move this. Emmett, feel free to edit all of this out. And then let me fit this to my screen here. Boom. Okay. And then I will turn this up here, and I will turn the speakers up as well. Okay, let's let this roll, ladies and gentlemen. The final preview from IGN, one of the few, by the way, visual previews. The rest of them are mostly written.
It pains me to say that it has been over a decade since Arkham Knight launched, and we're still waiting for another truly excellent Batman game to take up its mantle. After Bruce Wayne adjacent disappointments in Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it's understandable why so many have seen LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight's counter-based combat and immediately pin their hopes on the line, drawn between it and Rock.
Look at that. Like, I paused it at a horrible time. Like, oh man, that looks so good. It looks so good. So, as you'll see as we get deeper in this preview, the performance concerns aren't there until they suddenly are. But you kind of start to see why, because a lot of people go like, it's a Lego game. Like, why is a Lego game run this badly or whatever it is? And it's like, well, this Lego game is trying to push a lot. And just because it's like Lego figures doesn't mean like the tech beneath it isn't trying to push some crazy shit here. And the scale of the game isn't a very real thing, which you'll see as he's flying around the world. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. So just let's keep taking a look. Sorry, I'm stopping already really early, but I'm totally gassed about this game.
That is phenomenal trilogy. The comparison is not unfair. After playing 2.5 hours at a recent preview event, it's clear that Legacy of the Dark Knight is...
I love that they get the camera right too. Like, you see how the camera pulled out when he pulled in like that? I thought that was pretty cool too. That they even got that right, because so much of what makes the Arkham style combat system work is just its camera.
Something of a diet Arkham. I say that very much as a compliment. It's got a similar detailed open world, with dozens of distractions, fun mission design, and robust combat. It's just all much lighter, both in tone and mechanics, than its bigger, more photorealistic brother. The preview demo featured 3 missions from across LEGO Batman's early campaign. The first had me pummeling my way through Penguin's Iceberg Lounge in search of Carmine Falcone, a pursuit based on a sequence from Matt Reeves' incredibly dark The Batman, but re-envisioned with...
I don't know if y'all saw that real quick there, the way he dropped the combo and ran around, the combo kept going. Like, Rocksteady would never. They would immediately drop your combo here. But
a pursuit based on a sequence from Matt...
and then hits. Like, yeah, that wouldn't go in Rocksteady. So it's a little forgiving in the combat section, as you can tell.
Reeves' incredibly dark The Batman, but re-envisioned with brightly coloured ball pits, a QTE dance number, and a giant mechanical fist that punches doors off their hinges.
I hope there's a lot of building. You know, one thing that the modern Lego games got away from is like, just a lot of like building to get through levels, like little puzzle boss fights where like building was important. I hope they still have a little bit of that here. I get with the combat system this good though. It's kind of hard to ask for because you could just lean on the combat system instead. Like Skywalker Saga tried to push a different combat system, but I did also say in that review, I was like, I kind of missed the puzzle-based boss fights of building things to kind of hit the boss somewhere. I thought that was always sick, but let's keep going here.
Later, playing as the Boy Wonder himself, I balanced on tightropes and foiled Two-Face's bombing attempt in a recreation of Batman Forever's introduction to Robin. Rounding out the demo, I beat up monstrous plants in a multi-stage boss fight with Poison Ivy, whose minifigure is based on Batman and Robin's Uma Thurman. Across all 3, I was able to see a solid spectrum of what Legacy of the Dark Knight is capable of. My exploits in the Iceberg Lounge offered the best evidence that LEGO Batman will provide for those seeking Arkham-like adventures. Its frequent brawl pits had me beating Goo minifigures into the dirt. With success...
Hey, that combo dropped there too, though. Hang on, watch him whip here.
Its frequent brawl pits had me beating Goo minifigures into...
And it dropped. It might... Oh, pfft. You guys can't see. I'm so bad at this, dog. I'm so bad at this. you know why I don't do reaction content. Let me try that again. Yeah. I would love to share the screen and have you guys watch this alongside me. All right, let's try again.
Seeking Arkham-like adventures. Its frequent brawl pits had me beating Goo minifigures into the dirt.
And that happened pretty quickly. There you go. Let's keep going.
With success practically assured thanks to decade-old muscle memory.
Got me! Not again!
It's never any more advanced than Arkham's baseline attack, dodge, and tap-to-counter system, with batarangs and grapple gadgets barely offering a deeper layer, but that core formula is undeniably one of the greatest combat systems we've ever had in video games, and it's good to get back to it, even in this comparatively basic form. While I fully expected the fisticuffs, I was surprised to discover that LEGO Batman successfully tries its hand at Arkham's Predator-like stealth too. While you don't need to crouch and hold back on your speed, so long as you stay out of the generously...
Oh, I didn't see that on my first walkthrough. Hold on. Okay, let me go back. All right. This dude where my mouse is an enemy. Pay attention real quick here.
Surprised to discover that LEGO Batman successfully tries its hand at...
Question mark goes up.
Arkham's Predator-like stealth too. While you don't need to crouch...
No reaction. So yeah, that stealth, that vision cone is like this, brother. That narrow.
and hold back on your speed, so long as you stay out of the generously narrow enemy vision cones, you can eliminate entire rooms of enemies one by one, often through the deployment of comedic takedowns, like giving them a noogie or hooking them up to a floating balloon. While nothing I face
He bangs him in the back of the head with a fucking frying pan. So good. Do you hear the little ding? Listen to that.
While nothing I faced in the
That's so good. I can't wait for this game, dude. It's got so much personality, so much charm. Okay. I don't think someone was asking in chat, I don't think the stealth has to be more complex. I'm not like really ball busting the stealth. It's more so just I'm trying to set expectations here. I don't care as much, but I'm sure some people will.
Iceberg Lounge or beyond pose much of a challenge, there are 3 difficulty options, maxing out at Dark Knight level, which turns off unlimited lives and throws more special enemies into the mix, such as towering bruisers or those armed with guns and shields. While
I actually might play on the harder difficulty. I just want to see how far they want to push it. You know, also if they're adding in new enemy types, that's interesting to me. And I think like the question I'm wondering is how the system that they've rebuilt here for free flow, can it uphold that difficulty? So I actually might play on that difficulty level. The way they described it here made it sound very interesting.
Try this mode myself in the demo, it's the one I expect I'll naturally gravitate to when I play the final release. The Call of Arkham, even a plastic echo of it, is hard to ignore. But it's important to recognise that Legacy of the Dark Knight is more than just a shadow of Rocksteady's giant, and that's where the Haley's Circus mission comes in. Playing as Robin during his final performance as part of the Flying Graysons, it's predominantly a platforming level. And while its array of zip wires and rotating jump points are basic when compared to Mario's best gauntlets, it wasn't the pushover I expected. In its more challenging moments, where jumps and moving targets demand timing, I tripped up a couple of times due to overconfidence. There's less magnet-like snapping to secure you in place than you'd expect from what is ostensibly a kid's game. The Poison Ivy boss fight...
So what you're kind of getting here between the difficulty mode and even a little bit of a challenging platforming experience here is like maybe they're not leaning all for the kids. It's for people like me and you who are man-children looking at a Lego game with extreme anticipation. I don't know, what they showed on screen didn't look like a great representation of what he was talking about. Like that looked like a pretty simple, standard 3D platforming segment, especially because this year, like 3D platforming is kind of in an interesting spot thanks to like Fabraz, where they're doing like Bubsy 4D looks pretty solid, and then Demon Tides was also awesome. So, you know, there are some really great 3D platformers kind of kicking around right now where that seems like that bar seems pretty low for this previewer, in my opinion.
It swings the focus back to that slick combat system, but its multiple phases pull you in different directions. As bloom-headed minifigures do their best to distract you, Ivy herself is able to sprout a variety of flora that all demand different tricks to avoid. Be that dodging exploding cacti, leaping over swinging vines, or yanking Ivy from atop a giant plant by using your grappling hook. Again, while this isn't particularly challenging on the standard difficulty, it's nonetheless absorbing thanks to the energetic pace and constant switching of attacks and appropriate reactions. I expect this to be particularly fun when played in co-op, especially alongside kids getting their first real taste of the bat. Things shift gears again when Ivy summons her double-headed Snapdragon, and a new set of attack patterns must be avoided, including jumping between giant leaves as they dissolve in acid.
This doesn't look eco-friendly.
I'll admit that I'm no LEGO game aficionado, and have spent little time with 2022's LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
Honestly, the whole boss fight stretch there looks pretty good. I mean, 2 phases in a Lego game boss fight is kind of crazy. Like, it's usually you see the hearts at the top of the screen, you build your little thing that hits them, the hearts go down, and like that's really it. But it seems like the trade-off, like I was talking about earlier with the puzzle-based bosses, is like they seem to have a combat system that can uphold a little bit more of a complex boss fight. Because in the Lego games before this, right, you knew like let's go to the original Lego Batman, right? Like you knew you could run up. This is the double pack, by the way, with Pure, if anyone was wondering. I don't know, just shout out to Pure. But you could just run up and like punch people in the face. There were no combos or anything like that. No mechanical depth, really. So bosses had like they had just infinite health if you tried to like fight them head on. So you had to like usually build something to hit them. So I always liked that, but it seems like what that told me is they actually have a combat system that can uphold deeper boss fights without getting into the building, or maybe they do. That would also be really cool if they could kind of find a balance between the two. We're about halfway through. Let's keep going.
which saw developer TT Games push further into traditional video game territory. But I can certainly say that, across these missions, I was left with the sense that this is the best feeling LEGO game that I've personally played. So far, it seems more fully formed and wider scope.
Yeah, he switched characters like mid what's it called? Mid combo there. Hold on. He was fighting as Batman here.
Game that I've personally played. So far,
it did end the combo though. It did end the combo. So I don't think that carries over. Maybe it does. That'd be cool, but you could switch just like that. That's awesome.
Seems more fully formed and wider scoped than the bash around fun LEGO IP games of the early 2010s. I suspect the real key to its success, though, will be its open world. Legacy of the Dark Knight takes place in a gorgeous rendition of Gotham City, which you're free to prowl around between the main missions. Again,
Bro. And people go like, okay, I'm not defending the performance, by the way, when I say this, but people go like, oh, it's just a Lego game. I'm like, it doesn't make it okay that it's gonna like run pretty bad, but it's explainable is all I'm saying. You can look at it and go, okay, like they're pushing scale and scope, and lighting looks really fucking good, and lighting can be very taxing. The water even looks incredible. Like, damn, dude. So I don't know, man. This open world is what's got me really jazzed. I mean, the levels themselves look good, but this fucking world.
It was at least a minimal debt to Rocksteady's interpretation. Its architecture, the way you navigate it, and the general moody atmosphere evoke Arkham Knight. But the wider palette of influences means there's a fun array of billboards, shops, and other points of interest that evoke the Art Deco animated series and a lifetime of cinema visions. Together, they feel cohesive, and create a very classic-feeling version of DC's most important metropolis.
Careful, Catwoman. These guys didn't come to play.
While the city's footprint appears small when compared to grown-up open worlds, it is generously peppered with activities and distractions.
It's a little bit different from what we heard from another preview where they were like, I was not ready for how big this open world map would be, but as you're seeing here, left side of the screen, like each region has its own Riddler trophies and whatever the hell is also going on here. These look like time trials. We saw at the beginning of this preview that there was like races, Wayne Tech chests as well. Like, look at this, dude. Look at this. Let's take a look here.
Didn't come to play.
While the
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
city's footprint appears small when compared to grown-up
That's just one region. Old Gotham South has all of this.
open world
And then North has all of the... Oh, dude, yeah. You'll be able to spend a lot of time here.
worlds.
Yeah. Look at that. I'm blocking it. Oh, my God. I'm terrible at this. Hold on. Hold on. Now you can see. So, look, like, there's just... I mean, that's
It is generously
a lot of collectibles to get. Anyway, let me put my camera back now. All right, let's keep going.
peppered with activities and distractions. These, of course, include Riddler trophies, as well as their new sibling, the Clue Master puzzles, which, for example, ask you to seek out 3 items based on picture hints. Other classically styled options include traversal and combat trials, unlocking fast travel points by fixing the Sub-Wayne system, rescuing escaped zoo animals, and responding to the random crimes that occur across the city's many streets and alleyways. Yes, this is a...
So the random crimes remind me a lot of Amazing Spider-Man 2 did this. And it's just, I mean, really every Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2 on PS2 did this. But just like random, you know, in this case, a mugging. But random crimes that occur that are just kind of like, they're going to always generate. They're not going to be like progression-based stuff. Although Spider-Man 1, I think, did have it that way, where there was a certain amount of crime that you would actually shut down to kind of like complete each district.
Gotham with a bustling population of minifig civilians, all ready to be mugged by a supervillain's henchman.
Their fighting skills are almost as bad as their fashion choices.
While I poked around those familiar options, during my demo time I found myself more interested in the Falcone Fortune, a chain of side quests that sees you help Catwoman break into a series of apartments and rinse them of their valuables. Each property has a safe hidden behind a unique puzzle. You might need to piece together a key, spin statues into the correct alignment, or send an actual cat into small spaces to retrieve objects. Again, this is all
That's some old school Lego energy there, right? That looks awesome. That looks really cool. Okay, I'm I'm totally on board for these side activities.
Relatively easy stuff, but I love the use of Catwoman's unique abilities, from her glass-cutting claws to a wonderfully tactile safe-cracking minigame, which makes the whole event feel gleefully like cat burglary. The real highlight of the open world, though, is bombing around Gotham in one of the many Batmobiles. The driving in LEGO Batman is surprisingly good. The handling is arcadey without sacrificing weight. There's a good sense of heft as you swing these Goth motors around corners, and thundering through traffic feels fantastic, especially when you hammer the throttle and engage that iconic afterburner. Racing time trials provide a more structured goal for Wayne's wheels, but for me the joy was in reliving the Batman fantasy of responding to crimes at 100 miles per hour. That's only enhanced by the selection of...
I love, just real quick before we talk performance, I love how when you look at that shot here, look how many people are walking around here. There are cars driving around here.
100 miles per hour.
There's actually Legos running away from the chaos. He shoots his rockets all the way down the street here. Barrels through a bunch of cars like a tank. Pretty cool.
That's only enhanced by the selection of bricky replicas, which in my demo included Tim Burton's iconic 1989 Lamb Rocket, Nolan's two-wheeled Batpod, the roaring
that frame rate's gonna be a problem, Chief. I'm gonna be honest. That's problematic.
Iconic 1989 Lamb Rocket, Nolan's two-wheeled Batpod.
That's low. See, okay, let me explain why this is a little bit more alarming. When you go to like preview events like this, right? I learned my lesson with Redfall. When I went there, they had like a separate SKU or something like that ran better, and the full release happened, and a lot of people who saw reviews come out for the game that we played were like, why is this so low? Previews were like decent, and like they didn't mention anything about performance or stability or bugs. And so what you notice, not specifically after that point, but even beforehand, this is where I became really cognizant of it, is that developers really try to put on their best face, if you will, for when it's time to preview a game, to give you hands-on time, because all it takes is like one clip and that's it. So when you see things like frame dips happening in previews this close to launch, right? They said late April is when this took place. I know there's time for optimization a little bit. They could tighten some screws. Maybe it's not that disastrous, but you know, it's not like a situation we're seeing with 007 where they put out a whole new entire PC requirement sheet. But looking at that, it's like, if you're letting IGN post that type of gameplay, and by letting, I mean, like, you're saying, like, this is the state of the game. Like, there's no real avoiding it. Usually they try to, like, get that shit tightened up so that you don't even worry about that. So the fact that it's there probably indicates that, again, they're usually in these events, they use the best possible machines too, so that they can sometimes brute force beyond their issues. And what's kind of interesting is when I watched this preview the first time, this is not brought up by this previewer at all, which I was really surprised by. I'm like, it's fucking prevalent, dude. Like, I get that we're going to kind of maybe wait for the full verdict, but like, it's there all the way. So anyway, let's finish this thing out. But that's why the performance is a bit concerning.
The roaring muscle car of the Batman, and even the plastic monstrosity that Val Kilmer was saddled with in Batman Forever.
Reports of someone both snatching
that's happening constantly, dude. That's like fucking chugging.
Kilmer was saddled with in Batman Forever.
1, 2, 3,
Reports
4,
of someone both
5.
snatching and grabbing.
And I think there was something loading in the Discord.
With,
I'm gonna be a pain in the ass for a sec here. Hang on.
In Batman Forever.
Reports of someone both
Yeah, right there. Watch where my mouse is. Like right here. Right. Pay attention. Hang on. We're gonna be those guys on Twitter for a second here.
In Batman Forever.
Okay, watch where my mouse is.
Reports of someone.
Yep, there's 1, 2, 3.
Snatching and
So, yeah, it needs optimization work for sure. That much is obvious. So if you're like really sensitive to that stuff, I'm less sensitive. But if you are really sensitive to that stuff, you should be on full alert going into this launch. That this is probably not going to run the best. You know, the PC sheet taught us a lot already, but now you're seeing it in action. And it's like, you don't have to hope and pray. It's pretty clear what's going to happen here.
and grabbing. Over.
Yes, Legacy of the Dark Knight is very much equal opportunities when it comes to all flavours of the Caped Crusader. And it's this approach, rather than its co-opting of Arkham ideas, that I think not only defines it, but makes it worth paying attention to. By gluing together plastic recreations of the Dark Knight's big screen outings and retelling them in a gorgeous open world, TT Games has created what appears to be a wonderful, joyful, and significant evolution of what LEGO IP games have always been. Movie tie-ins that let our inner 7-year-olds...
open world as well that's really taxing this thing, which is not surprising given what we just saw with it. Because when they're in the interior levels, you're seeing here there aren't really major performance issues at all when he's like running around. But just something else I wanted to point out on the performance.
Or indeed our actual 7-year-olds, relive the cinematic magic. By building atop the achievements of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the Legacy of the Dark Knight appears to be a new remix of the plastic bricks ambitions. And it's that...
Yeah, that's basically it. Now keep in mind, this game's also coming out on Switch too. So I'm really excited. Like, all I saw there was like, yeah, this game is totally for me. It's about as close as you'll get to a new Arkham game, which we have been robbed of for a while, and certainly with the way like WB is moving right now, it's like you don't know when that's going to happen, if ever. And then also Rocksteady's bled so much talent that, you know, it's like even if they got back to Arkham, how would that feel? How would that look? So I'm really excited for this, but definitely a little bit concerned with the performance. But I guess again, this sheet here did not lie to us at all. So. Lego Batman, looking great, but this game needs some optimization work, and if you're sensitive to that, I'd probably wait a little bit, because it just seems obvious with the previews. It's coming in hot. Chat, what do you think of the Lego Batman video game coming up here? Saw some of y'all in chat saying that that shit was choppy, but also that looks really good. We missed the Arkham games, of course. So I'm just curious to everyone's thoughts here, how they're feeling. Let me get the music rocking and rolling here. Fact that the lowest setting is 1080p with 30 FPS with DLSS and frame gen is absolutely insane. Yeah, Chief Adam hit the nail on the head during the video we were recording there. Yeah, it's that's not a good look when you need DLSS to hit 1080 30. I don't care what your game is, dog. That's fucking crazy. Discord is still down, bro. Too many Lego bricks on display. Turn down to increase your performance. Oh, Zoom, you want to get this on Switch too, or you'd prefer to at least? Yeah, dude. I fear you might be in a world of trouble then. Would have picked this up if it wasn't close to 007. To me, my hype for Lego Batman's much higher than 007. And I've played 007 a little bit. Like, 007 is going to be great, I think, but Lego Batman's like, oh man, this just looks special. Just looks so special. Sorry if you hear the Star Fox Direct in the background here. I'm trying to get the Direct up. We're no doubt going to reference the footage here when we talk about it in a little bit. I'm more of a Hitman guy than a Lego dude. I think that's understandable. Uncharted, I just think, I don't know. I thought the comparisons to Hitman for a lot of other people's 007... It's so funny. I called it Uncharted by accident because it's so reminiscent of Uncharted. 007 though, I think the Hitman comparisons were a little extreme. You know, like I didn't really feel that same freedom and replayability that Hitman offers. And I don't think it's trying to do that, and that's why so many people are like, it's like Hitman mixed with this and that. And I'm like, I don't really see a ton of Hitman DNA. Limits Breaker, thank you for your $5 super chat. Thanks for the awesome content as always. Do you think Nintendo will give you the option to turn off DLSS 5 on characters? Take care, bro. Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly you hope so with Star Fox, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're stuck with what we got here. It's coming out next month. That game is done. They're putting the last little bit of polish on there for like optimization. Sorry, whenever Cog texts me a Twitter link, I got to get on it. Okay, is it wait, I just realized I just messaged Cog on Discord. So is it desktop Discord that's fucked? I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, I guess Discord on desktop is cooked. Have you heard about possible Dead Space 4? Alex, I have not, but I'd love for you to fill me in. If there's a Dead Space 4 on the way, I'd love to know about it. Oh, you guys are talking about the dog? Yeah, you can see him right here. Forrest is all snuggled up on a bed like 15 times his size. Are we getting an MK retrospective to go with the new movie? I was thinking about it, but I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't really feeling it. That's why I went with the Blockbuster video. I was like, I'm kind of feeling that. Now, if I were a smart content creator, I was like, views, money. You know, my choice is a little obvious. Like Mortal Kombat retrospective would be sick, like especially MK1. But I went with my heart. I wonder how the video is actually doing. How is our Blockbuster video doing? I said to Josh, I said I got a bad feeling about this one. It's doing all right. Yeah. I don't think it's going to do. I was like, I don't think many people really actually care. Zensha, thank you for your super chat. The stark contrast between KOTOR 1 and 2 always fascinates me. I love it. I love that Obsidian went in like the complete opposite direction and was just like post-apocalyptic Star Wars. Fuck it, why not? You know? Like I really dug that. That's like one of my favorite things about KOTOR 2 is it just feels so desolate, so hopeless. It's so moody. It's so fucking moody. The music is so good in that game. Kind of bleeds together a little bit, but it's so memorable in a different way from how memorable KOTOR 1 is. KOTOR 1 is such like a hope kind of story in a lot of ways, but like KOTOR 2 is like, we don't give a fuck, bro. Depression. Are you a Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, or Tekken guy? Out of those three, Tekken. Yeah, Tekken's my home. Took a watch, disappointed about no games to rent my childhood since Super Nintendo. Yeah, dude, like no, yeah, exactly. The no games to rent thing was really surprising, really surprising. Not even games for sale. You know, not even games for sale. Blockbuster video was great. I was born in '86. It brought back some good memories. Awesome. I'm glad. That was the goal. That's why I wanted to go with it. I was like, you know, sitting here thinking again, like, oh, do I go with the Mortal Kombat video? That was like, Josh can attest to it. I don't think Josh is in chat anymore, but he sees like my schedule and sort of how I like ideate on videos for Retro Rebound. And like Mortal Kombat was in our schedule. Like that was the plan for today's video, but I went with Blockbuster because I was like, sometimes retrospectives feel very right. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm just kind of like, I'd be view chasing doing this. Like, I'm not playing any Mortal Kombat right now. I'm not going to stick with any Mortal Kombat. I'm just going to talk about Blockbuster and just give it a whirl, see how that goes. So, Gamefly is still around. I didn't know that, Crazy Bass. I wasn't aware of that. I thought Gamefly had been gone for a while. Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter are legend. I'm actually like not fluent in Street Fighter at all. I've played like nothing of Street Fighter 2, which I know is iconic. And then Street Fighter 4 I tried on my 360 a while ago, and it just did not feel good for me. But I don't think any fighting game felt good on the 360. So I didn't play much of that. And I never played 5 or 6. Like, I just never... 6 I was a little bit more drawn to, for sure. But fighting games are like that one genre where, like, when you're late, I just don't want to get into you late. Because it's like picking up Halo Master Chief Collection now and trying to just jump into multiplayer day one. All you got are a bunch of dudes who've been playing since I was like 8 years old, know every spawn, got perfect aim, They just fuck your day up, dude. And I've been playing Halo since I was a kid, and I get in there, I just get fucked up. So to me, it's like picking up a fighting game years after release a current one. It's like, yeah, just fucking kick the shit out of me, dude. Why not? So it's just like for me, especially with Street Fighter, it's like, oh, I got no experience in this too, by the way. Kick my ass, please. Your Blockbuster got replaced by a dispensary. The modern age, bro. The modern age. Zensha asks, Matty, what is your opinion on the old guard Casey Hudson has assembled for FOTOR? A lot of classic BioWare and OG Mass Effect talent. Obviously always great to see, dude. Like, I have a lot of faith in Casey Hudson. Like, he's kind of made the team he wants to make. The only thing, Zensha, that sticks out to me that was not mentioned, everyone else was mentioned. Here's our art director. Here's, like, someone for voice work. Where's the lead writer? Why was that not mentioned at all? You know? Just a little strange, in my opinion. Casey Hudson also worked on Veilguard? I don't think he did. If he did, it was like the very early original rendition and not the Veilguard we got. Because he was out of BioWare way... That was with Gary McKay. Like, he took over as GM of BioWare for a while. I think Casey Hudson left with Mark Dara in, like, 2020 or something like that. When did he leave? Casey Hudson leaves BioWare. When was that? Yeah, 2022. Key BioWare leads leave studio. Casey Hudson, the general manager, and Mark Dara, executive producer, are retiring from the studio. Interim general manager Gary McKay and Christian Daly will fill the roles. And I think Christian Daly came up a lot in the sort of post-mortem for Veilguard and sort of like the idea of this more, I mean, the art style, you know? Like, that was a big part of it. They're trying to hire you for it, Matty? Me writing Fate of the Old Republic, bro? Oh, God, no. There's certain projects that just sound too intimidating that one day I would like to take on, but I'd like to ship my own stuff first before I, like, try to develop a writing talent for, like, inheriting others' work and working with, like, fucking, like, executives and be like, can I talk about this in our game? Is this okay in our story? Where, like, in our story now, I'm like, kill that person. Fuck it. Like, you know, we can just make those calls. Like, the idea of, like, that being taken away from me, it's like, well, this might be a character we want to make a TV show about. You can't kill them. Star Wars is a story of hope. You have to keep them alive. It's like, fuck off, dude. That sounds awful. Hopolite, I have been keeping up with the Sabres. I'm rooting for them, dude. I think they look really good. And I think that the Sabres got a sick barn. You know, the team is, the fans are completely behind them. The world is behind them. Palmer's asked, will you make a physical copy of your game? I don't want to promise anything. Of course, it's like high priority, though. I only say I don't want to promise anything because I don't know the logistics. And I don't know, like, I have, like, high hopes for it. Like, when I say limited run game, I speak more to their quality. I think limited run games, physical copies, like ignoring some of their collectibles and stuff, their physical copies are really good. The manuals and stuff they come with, I think they take good care of that stuff. It just takes a while to get them. So I think of, like, that as sort of a high-end, like, quality mark. And then, like, I think of sort of in the middle, like what Colin does with Lilimo and I think it's East Asia Soft. I would have to ask Colin about that. I do know a little bit of the dollars and cents that goes into that, but I've never poked and pried around. So I don't want it to be limited to, like, in my head, I'm like, I'd want people to, you know, I want to have that moment too. I want to see that shit on the store shelf, bro. But I also know how much that probably would cost to do. So you need, like, a publishing partner for that. So there's just logistics and stuff within it that I would love to figure out, especially before even the game launches. Like, I don't want to do a digital then physical. Like, I'd love to just be like, go get it. Like, yeah, it's all on disc. Like, fuck yeah. You know, that's obviously super important to me. So I'd love to make a physical copy of our game. It is a plan in my brain. I just can't promise anything because I really don't know how to do it. You know, you know, we want to make the game first, but then take that next step. Hopolite, I have never been to Buffalo. No, I am a New Yorker, but I've never been to Buffalo. How about the Star Wars XCOM game coming? Dead Pine, I can't wait for that one, dude. That's going to be sick. I think that looks really good. So that'll hold us over for KOTOR a bit. Alex Torres, I haven't actually watched the new Maul show. I'm behind on Star Wars content, so I need to watch Andor first. I've been watching a shit ton of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Our art director put me onto it because it's one of his favorite things, and I was like, oh, I just want to check this out. And like, it's so aesthetically pleasing, but like each episode is so deeply interesting and well written, and I love the characters, and I love this 90s style anime character depiction. I don't know when this show actually released, but like kind of the way the hair is drawn, like Major Kusanagi's what's his name, Togasa, his hair as well, like that kind of longer, older style. I fucking love that shit, dude. I love that shit. It's like very soul soothing. So just everything about that show is aesthetically pleasing. I love the characters. I love the themes they tackle. It's amazing that this show was not made in like the 2020s with the themes it tackles. Like, it's just so fucking interesting. It's so good. Highly recommend it. I've been watching it on Adult Swim. They have all the episodes for free on their website. So I just go into my projector room, which is our den, which has a projector in it. And then I just literally stream my phone to the projector and I just watch it there and cozy up. It's so good. Dosney, I did see Matt Reeves' photo for Batman. Yeah, and that there was like a snowy setting. I cannot wait. I'm so glad they committed to that, dude. I'm so glad they committed to that. Do some anime deep dive videos. I did not humble brag. I don't have a projector room. That's why I changed it. I said projector room, and I was like, that sounds like I have a room dedicated to a projector with like a theater seat. I literally have a room, like a den, with a couch, and in the ceiling is a projector, and it works really well for us, so we don't have to have like a huge TV in there or anything like that. 4K gaming projector is very underrated. Shout out to, what was it? I don't remember what the fucking company was who did the sponsorship with. What was it? 4K gaming projector. I always forget their name. BenQ. That's who it was. Really good product. Anyway, I don't have a projector room. No humble brag. I have a normal den with a couch with a projector. Honestly, that room is like very underserviced. Like when we moved in here, it was like the one room I was like, I gotta change this. This room has so much potential. So we have like movie posters up there on the wall, but the paint for the wall is fucking ugly, and I want to get hardwood floors in there. Money, time, energy. It's gonna take some time. Casper, I don't think Colin has beef with anything Xbox. I think it's just, you know, again, with Starfield, I get where he's coming from. I don't agree with him on Starfield, but I get where he's coming from. Since mobile Discord is working, let me text Emmett from here the drive links. Maybe that'll just work. It's working on mobile. That's super weird. All right. So it shall be. Alright, there we go. I got Emmett all up to date now. I was like, sorry, bro. Fucking Discord's still down on my end. Oh, Bob Carrot asks, have you ever thought of making a Sly spiritual successor? That's a really good question. It actually did cross my mind. Yeah, we're not doing that, but like I have thought about that. I'm like, you know, a lot of games that thrive in this industry are just like, oh, it's shit that like, you know, of course, like PlayStation abandoned it, but this indie team would pick it up. It's something I'd be very open to trying. I have reasons for why I didn't pursue that though. Like 40, I can tell you one day, but it's something that's definitely crossed my mind. I would love to try that. And then Morganator, did you ever watch the Resident Evil trailer? I forgot. I put a fucking reminder on my phone. We'll watch it together. Monetization be damned. I keep forgetting. Let's watch it together. Resident Evil movie trailer. All right, sure. Let's do this. Let's turn off the peaceful night of Skyrim music and watch this new Resident Evil teaser trailer. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let me move the volume up a little bit here. Okay, let's do this together. Looks all right. I'm gonna be honest. I hate to let you guys down. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Am I a fucking hater or what? Like, I don't know. I just looked at it. I was like, this doesn't even remind me of Resident Evil. I don't know. Like, am I out of touch? I just played a ton of Resident Evil games. I feel like I should be fucking popping off, but I don't know. I don't really see it. I don't really. I don't know. That didn't really. I apologize, Morganator. I know you've been eagerly awaiting me watching that, and I'm sorry you had to see that live. It just did not really remind me of. Dante, I can say I did see the Resident Evil Requiem trailer. I did see that. It does look interesting, but not something I'm going to fire up right away. Two weeks of procrastinating watching the trailer for that. Maybe deep down somewhere I knew. My soul just knew through the ether. It had been passed on to me in this universe that this that this trailer was going to disappoint me a little bit. I wouldn't even say it's Ethan Winters coded. Like Ethan, I feel like I could feel Resident Evil in 7 and 8. You know, I didn't really feel Resident Evil in that. And so, yeah, okay. So Josh M, what he's saying here is what I was just about to get to. Is I'm like, I wonder if it's like a feel when you watch the full thing. Like some of the interviews for it I thought were interesting. He says director was talking about how there's a similar flow, references of weapons, progression, etc. Similar-ish, but vibes, why nah? Yeah. So if it progresses like a Resident Evil story, then it is just Resident Evil in name. If it's written like a Resident Evil game as well, sure, but like Leon can get only one who can get away with the kind of cheesy one-liners. There's also that too. Then again, hasn't Resident Evil got like a bunch of expanded material? To be fair, I get why people are kind of excited because it does look better than what I've heard other like non-video game Resident Evil things have been. So I get why there's a lot of people who are like, it actually looks watchable. It looks good. And that I would go to the movie theater to see that. But when I saw like what I assume are zombies running along the top of like buildings and falling onto cars and stuff, I'm just like, that's more like, what kind of horror is this then? Do you know about Project Blackwing and the zombie stormtrooper virus? And would be interested in seeing it in a game someday. Sorry for being off topic. Don't apologize at all, SecV. Thank you for your super chat. I've actually never heard of anything you just mentioned here. Zombie stormtrooper stuff would be interesting though, because I did read Star Wars Death Troopers, the book, and I think that Disney did something with that eventually. But I really liked that book. I thought it was really interesting and just kind of this cool idea of like, oh, like there could be like zombies in Star Wars, and it would be like interesting and a little creepy. And so I thought that was fun. So I'd love to see that in a game at some point, or whatever it may be. I'm sure I watched every Resident Evil before the new one. I don't know if I would do that. But I will say this, knowing he directed Weapons and Barbarian, I don't have the balls to watch those yet. Weapons, I really tried to warm myself up to, but I couldn't do it. So I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't pull the trigger and go to the theaters. But it did look really good. It looked really good. So, you know, given the quality that's there from what people are saying about his work, that's why I'm also interested. I don't know if we'll put this on Matty Slot, but we'll talk about Star Fox now. I guess I'll record it just in case. Let me pause this here. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll put it up on Matty Slot. We'll see. Let me mute this and then get this rocking and rolling here. All right, everyone. Final bit of slop here. Let's talk about Star Fox. Let me get my notes up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Star Fox. This leaked a while ago, thanks to Nate the Hate. Nintendo wanted to hold the element of surprise still, so they decided to drop a direct out of literal nowhere. Cog and I were recording Defining Duke when this thing went live, and it was like almost, I think, 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern time when it was going on. We were just like, what the hell? Turns out there's a new Star Fox game on the way as it was leaked, which means that, you know, you could probably trust that there is an Ocarina of Time remake on the way. But this is kind of the resurgence of Star Fox we're seeing here, right? He shows up in the Mario Galaxy movie, which I'm like, hey, that's a pretty cool surprise. He also looks pretty cool there, which will be a big point of the conversation here. And then we start to see rumors that Nintendo's seemingly getting into a universe of movies here. There's rumors that he might get his own movie in Star Fox. DK might get his own movie. I think we heard rumors of a Princess Peach standalone movie. So I imagine all the options are on the table after the success between Nintendo and Illumination with Mario, even though Mario Galaxy seemed to have been a little bit more divisive than the first movie when it came out. So anyway, this was announced at a random direct, and I just wanted to talk about it because I have like the most unorthodox Star Fox opinion probably on the internet. I would claim that one for sure because I did not grow up with Star Fox 64. Big point in this conversation, of course, as you can imagine, because Star Fox 64 is really relevant. Also, I grew up with Star Fox Assault. My dog is whining. Come here, Forrest. Come here. Come here. You get to sit in my lap. Come here, Star Fox. All right, I got Star Fox in my lap now. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I've only played a lot of Assault, and I loved Assault. And that will also be very relevant. So let's take a look at this here. Direct here. Like Forrest is he's so funny. This dog's so funny. Like he was like trying to lick my arm as I was moving around my computer. So graphically, there's those graphics which have proven controversial, as in Star Fox, who looks like that meme that people were posting online of like the disheveled fox sitting in the chair. It was like that, like, you know, he kind of looks like that. At the same time, environmentally, or like just looking at the textures on the R-Wing, dude, like this looks awesome from that angle. And when we really get into gameplay, I thought it looked pretty good. Now, what Nintendo confirms here is that this is a remake of Star Fox 64. It's releasing June 25th, so next month. Really quick turnaround time, which I thought was cool. It's $50, which also, I think, lessens the impact of a lot of things surrounding this game as well. Now, I will say that the rabbit dude, whose name I'm forgetting again, for those who watch the streams, they know I called this guy Hair, I think. It was his name, Pepe O'Hare or something like that. So he looks good. I do think that Slippy looks good as well. I really like it because he's stylized more so. These two are stylized more so. So I don't know. I'm not like hitting the panic button on all the visuals, but then the one that really caught the attention was this man right here, Falco. So this shows my detachment from the franchise because I didn't look at this and go like, egad, and go like, oh my God, what happened to him? A lot of people, though, were kind of doing the... There was this meme I saw. It was so good. You know the episode of SpongeBob where like they all finally leave the ocean and they go up to the beach and you see their like real life counterparts and like SpongeBob is an actual sponge now. Well, Squidward comes up and he just looks really weird compared to everyone else and he's like, what? That was basically what people were posting with Falco's face on the cover, which I thought was really funny. I didn't get much shock from this, but I will say the overall style is a little bit more of a uncanny valley approach from a character perspective. This normally wouldn't matter because as you're seeing here with the gameplay, I do think the environments look really good. That water is like a crystal blue, very vibrant. The explosions look good. I think the UI does not look like it was just ripped from a basic asset pack, which many AAA style games do look like. I like on the bottom here, like when Peppy's talking, like it's actually fully animated and it looks like good animation, where we're used to Star Fox not, like, you know, with some of the older games nowadays not having the best animation. So I think environmentally it looks really good. It's the problem is that, as you'll see, like with this here, they really pull the camera in close and tell like a very cinematic story for Star Fox in the 64 remake. And because of that, it calls a lot of attention to, you know, these character models, which are pretty controversial. So there's that element of the conversation that's really rubbed people the wrong way. And then, of course, there is the other part of the conversation, which is, look, it's another Star Fox 64 game. Like, you got 64, and then you got Star Fox 64 3D on DS. And it's like, okay, makes sense. Like, and Nintendo did that with a bunch of their games on DS. So you got Ocarina of Time 3D. You got Majora's Mask 3D. It's like, okay, like they're doing this a lot, sure. And then they did Star Fox Zero, which practically killed the franchise at the time on the Wii U. And that I didn't know until I started doing my research on this. I'm like, why are people reacting like, oh, 64 again? Star Fox Zero was a reimagining of Star Fox 64, and it was basically the same story. And now here they are doing it again. So I'm looking at this fatigued, and I'm not even someone who played Star Fox 64. I'm like, really? 4 times? At the same time, though, I look at this shit, I'm like, hey, it looks pretty good. And as someone who hasn't played 64, I guess this is again for a new generation of Star Fox fans. For me, though, I think what really, I'm going to be that guy. And by that guy, I mean the Star Fox Assault fan. Because I imagine I cannot be alone on this, where we're just out here. We're feeling loud and proud right now, baby. Because we're talking about how, like, man, this game, like, they haven't made a Star Fox game like Assault in so long, where you can actually get out of your ship and run around with a gun. Like, have you guys ever seen Star Fox Assault gameplay? Let me grab some for you. Let me bring you up to speed with what the real champions here have been playing. All right, let me grab this thing. Star Fox Assault. We'll just use a random long play. All right. So you'll see here, this was a GameCube exclusive game. Cinematics look really good. The way it kind of flies in like this does remind me a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, where you'd see like Ratchet's ship fly in and then you drop off the ship. Looks really cool here, right? My man's walking up. This is the Fox we know and love, right? And as you can see, again, the facial animations on the bottom weren't good. It's just like the mouth kind of moving like this. Something's wrong here. It's got a little edge to it, right? But he's not in the R-Wing. Now we're going to see the door close. It's a trap. And watch what happens here. Turns into a third-person shooter in a moment here. Come on. There we go. Mission start. And as you can see here, like, this is what I loved about Assault, is I was not confined exclusively to my vehicle. But you can see up in the sky, there are, like, actual ships flying around and stuff. And this can, like, change in real time, which is also really sick. This was a super ambitious Star Fox game, in my opinion. It was the one Star Fox game that I was like, I have to play this. And I actually have it complete in box in my collection. And it's something I think I'm going to play really soon, because with the new Star Fox game coming up, of course, I got to do my retrospective on Retro Rebound. But this is what I was hoping for, was that if you were going to like reimagine or expand or remake or whatever Nintendo wants to call it now, Star Fox 64, that you would add a segment of the game like this. I think that'd be pretty cool. At the end of the day, though, it's a $50 game that we are getting from this new Star Fox title. So it's like, all right, it is priced a little bit more reasonably. So the question is, like, what are you getting that's new with this next Star Fox game? Well, the Direct does detail a couple of things as they go through some of the levels here. One thing they show here is there are some new campaign difficulties. And they also show here as well, I believe it is, that there are challenges for each mission here. So find and defeat the lone red Shogun trooper, destroy 12 panels on the sides of enemy ships, fully upgrade your shields and lasers, score 100 hits, defeat 10 or more enemies with a single bomb, form a 4-ship formation with Star Fox teammates, and uncover the hidden item here. So it kind of reminds me of a Tony Hawk game now. You know, remember when Tony Hawk games weren't like the hub-based levels, but you actually had like challenges that you would drive forward in level and you'd replay them over and over? That's what this reminds me of here. So you can see here, this is the Red Shogun challenge. So they added challenges to the missions, which does look cool. And then they also added, if I scroll a little bit further here, they added multiplayer, which does look pretty good as well. So this is in addition to everything else, like remaking the game, which I've heard Star Fox 64 is like really short. The chat was saying earlier, it's like 3 to 5 hours. So Nintendo's put me in a little bit of a bind. I went from, oh, fuck yeah, Star Fox is back, thinking we were going to get like another, like an Assault successor, or who knows, maybe an adventure style game. Like Rare made that 3D platforming Star Fox game. I mean, maybe that is something that they could do. Donkey Kong got its own game, and like it was a 3D platformer. So maybe Star Fox eventually gets its own game and it's a 3D platformer. So yeah, who knows what happens next, but a remake to sort of prime the audience alongside the movie and potential standalone movie is pretty cool. They show game share here, and there is something. Oh my God, look at the frame rate on the bottom here, dude. Oh my God. Nintendo is too transparent about that shit. They show off co-op play where you have the pilot and the pilot and the gunner here. So there are a lot of like very Nintendo-ass features here, which, you know, I think is pretty cool. Like they got that sort of stuff. And then what's the other thing? I'm looking for it here. Where they have like the faces. Yeah, this one here. This is crazy. Like, look at this. Okay, that's cool. But then he starts making faces. I don't know, man. I don't know. You taking my facial data just so I can play as Star Fox and make stupid faces with him? I don't know, man. So I don't look at this and go like, yeah, take my money when like those are your additions. But the graphics, the art style, the cutscene presentation, like there's upgrades and backtracks there. Like I do like older Star Fox designs way more than what we see here in this game. The face tracking is weird. Multiplayer looks cool. Challenge mode looks kind of interesting. Like that looks fun. Again, reminds me a little bit of that Tony Hawk kind of experience. But otherwise, like new Star Fox game. Yeah, I just slapped my mic. I apologize. New Star Fox game, like if it leads to more, I think I'll be more okay with this. Right now, in the moment, this feels very skippable to me. And that's as someone who's not touched 64 at all. So I can only imagine those who have played 64 before. Maybe to you, it looks like, oh my God, like, yes, this is how I always imagined 64. But since it's happened so many times and been reimagined, rethought, I think like, I don't know, could have been a little bit more. That's just my 2 cents though. Obviously, we'd love to hear other thoughts, differing opinions is really important. But for me, was hoping for a Star Fox Assault spiritual successor where it was basically the same space combat that we saw here in this kind of remake, but they also added like the running and gunning. I think that would have been cool. Maybe they eventually do that. I don't know. Nintendo always has like a weird, surprising way of supporting their games. But Star Fox, you know, cool to see it trending. Look at that. Number 6 on YouTube trending. So there is attention it's gathering. Definitely was a good way to surprise people when they already knew the game was on the way. So they did a good job with what was there. But I'll be curious to see how this sells compared to like a Metroid. Metroid didn't sell very well. Does Star Fox have that pull after the movie? There's a little bit of movie synergy here. So this will be interesting to track and see what it can lead to. I can't imagine they're just doing a Star Fox game willy-nilly all these years later. And maybe just to kind of prime and get something else going for the franchise. So time will tell. But I really do wish they kind of just did a new one. So those are my thoughts. Chat, I'm curious to see what you're thinking about Star Fox 64, or the remake, whatever you fucking call this thing. Like the fact that they're just calling it Star Fox straight up is also just crazy. Like they framed it like it was something new. Like, come on, guys. Come on. I did see the Stranger Than Heaven casting trailer, Mithu. That game looks excellent. Can't wait for that. Star Fox 64 is a remake of Star Fox 1, by the way. No way. No way. That's so bad. Chud Fox. Yeah, I honestly can't wait for Stranger Than Heaven. I'm glad someone brought that up. That looks really good. Maddie's the only person I know who gasses up Assault this hard. It's fun, bro. There's no way. What's the like Metacritic? Metacritic. I'm turning to my people. Metacritic Star Fox Assault. What do the people say? Oh, come on, dude. You can't be saying that when it's got an 8 on the user score. Come on now. Hold on. What does Reddit say? Here we go. Do not let people's love for the classics stray you away. The gameplay is fantastic and the story is surprisingly good. Classic Star Fox fan here. Assault is fun as hell. This game takes me back to a very happy time in my life. Hell yeah. Hoping to take a really deep dive about Star Fox Adventures and wasn't disappointed. Yes, to me, most hate seems unfounded because they wanted more Star Fox 64 greatness. I'm not sure Nintendo ever tries for that. But this definitely is a fun game to play. People love this game, bro. I'm not alone on this. It's fun. It's not 64, man. You just didn't gloss. What critic score are you talking about? A 67? That's ridiculous, dude. What are people saying? Yeah, Thunderbolt gets it. All right, let's see what the negative. I can totally see 5 to 10-year-olds eating this game up. Oh, shit. That's not good for me. That's really bad. They'll love the characters in the game. It's not overly challenging. The multiplayer modes will keep them entertained, but any serious hardcore player will want to play a game with more substance and deep gameplay. Forsky, I get on my lap, buddy. Thank you. The more you play, the more obvious it becomes that this is a case of shattered hopes. There are serious issues concerning gameplay and enjoyment that leave this Star Fox game a fair way short of its predecessors. 33. From a value perspective, you're dealing with a feature film's worth of content for $50. Independently wealthy, rabid fanboys might want to check it out. Otherwise, we leave this fox to the dogs. Can't say that about Star Fox Assault. Come on. Oh, my God. IGN 7 out of 10. Oh, no, it's looking bad. Through the game's opening cutscene sequence will rekindle your love for the franchise, only to have it betrayed by the shoddy control and repetitive play of successive levels and the multiplayer while dishing out mild entertainment wears thin excessively fast. That's a fucking 7, bro. That sounds like a fucking 2. My goodness. Let's see what the lowest Cheat Code Central reviewed this. There's no variety in the missions themselves. It becomes very tedious shooting at swarms of enemies. Aside from learning some defensive moves in your R-Wing, it's a lacking depth to the gameplay. Fuck off. Fuck off. G4 TV. Sure, there's more variety in Star Fox Assault than in past games, but why give us half-baked concepts when all we want is another traditional Star Fox game? We don't listen to the press here. We don't listen to the press here. Like here, look at the people who are influencing this score, all right? The Sydney Morning Herald. Who? Gamer Feed. Who? Detroit Free Press. GameCube Europe. Okay. GameStyle. Eurogamer released I heard of. 1UP Shirt. Nintendo Dojo. VG Pub. A major disappointment. They could only write a fucking sentence that was 3 words long about this game, dude. It's them, not us. Pelagia in Finland. Maxim Online. Like, come on now. Edge Magazine. Like, there you go. There's an established one. Read more. Someone who actually wrote a paragraph. Yeah, you're right, Uncharted. Those reviews are harsh from back then. Little ridiculous that they would do that to Star Fox Assault. I agree. Like, man, I'm a man of many great tastes. If I got one bad take, let it just be that. I'm not coping hard. Stop believing me. Just saying, Star Fox Assault is the best Star Fox game. I don't gotta play any of the others to know that, bro. The game lets you get out of your ship and shoot shit. Like, variety is the spice of life, baby. All right, it's about to be 7 o'clock. Actually, I am fucking starving. What did I have eat today? I had a bowl of cereal today. That was at like 11. So I'm gonna go get some food. I'm so hungry, actually. I'm like feeling my stomach grumble. I'm like, what's going on? I don't feel light energy. All right. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. So next week's streaming schedule, I'll have to probably repeat this, but just so you know, next week's streaming schedule might be a little hectic. So next week's my brother's birthday, my wife's birthday, Mother's Day is on Sunday. I don't know how we're putting all this together. Still figuring out those plans, but it's possible. My wife's birthday will be on a streaming day, so I'm probably going to move the streaming schedule around a little bit, whether it's like I stream on a weekend day or I stream on a Thursday. You're going to see a second stream from me. I just don't know which day it'll be, but we're going to stream at least on Tuesday. So look forward to that. But when that second stream day is a TBD, so you might see it on a less common day. But thank you for being here. Appreciate you all immensely. And we'll talk real soon in the next stream, all right? Till then,